ቼክ ላድርግልህ አሁን።
ቴስቲንግ ቴስቲንግ ቼክ።
ይሄ አሁን የሰሙት የዲስቶርሽን ነው እንጂ የእንትን አይደለም። የሀሙ ቅድም ጠፍቷል አይደል? ይሄ ዲስቶርሽን ለሁሉም ነገራቸው። እሺ ከእናንተ ቀንሱት በጣም።
ክብርት ወይዘሮ ሙፈሪያት ካሚል ሞቅ ባለ ጭብጨባ ተቀበሉልን እባካችሁ። Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, announcing the arrival of Her Excellency Muferihat Kamil, Minister of the Ministry of Labor and Skills of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, accompanied by other high-level government officials, including those from the ministry and institutions under it. Thank you so very much, everyone. Please be seated.
Testing, check. ክብርት ወይዘሮ ሙፈሪያት ካሚል የኢፌዴሪ ስራና ክህሎት ሚኒስቴር ሚኒስትር፣ ክብራትና ክቡራን ሚኒስትሮችና ሚኒስትር ዴታዎች፣ ክብራትና ክቡራን የኢፌዴሪ መከላከያ ከፍተኛ መኮንኖች፣ Excellency ambassadors and other members of the diplomatic corps, ክቡር ዶክተር ሁሴን ሐሰን ሁሴን የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ልማት ኢንስቲትዩት ዋና ዳይሬክተር፣ honorable representatives of our international development partners, ክብራትና ክቡራን የፌዴራልና የክልል ከፍተኛ የስራ ኃላፊዎች እንዲሁም የስራና ክህሎት ሚኒስቴርና የተጠሪ ተቋማቱ ከፍተኛ የስራ አመራር አባላት፣ የተከበራችሁ ወጣቶችና የልዩ ልዩ አደረጃጀት ተወካዮች፣ የተከበራችሁ ጥሪ የተደረገላችሁ እንግዶቻችን፣ ክብራትና ክቡራን የስራና ክህሎት ሚኒስቴር በስሩ ከሚገኘው የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ልማት ኢንስቲትዩት ጋር በመተባበር በኩራት ወዳዘጋጀው የ2018 ዓመተ ምህረት ዓለም አቀፉ የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ሳምንት ይፋዊ ታላቅ የመክፈቻ ስነ ስርዓት እንኳን በሰላም መጣችሁ፣ እንኳን አደረሳችሁ። Honorable guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, honorable industry and policy as well as visionary entrepreneurs, innovators and dreamers, good afternoon and welcome to the opening ceremony of the Global Entrepreneurship Week 2025, proudly hosted by the Ministry of Labor and Skills of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia in collaboration with the Entrepreneurship Development Institute. And thank you all very much for coming. Today we gather with one shared belief that ideas have the power to transform communities, industries and nations. And thank you for coming and joining us here this evening to be part of this grand event. ክብራትና ክቡራን መርሃ ግብራችንን ለመጀመር አሁን ሁላችንም ከመቀመጫችን በመነሳት የኢትዮጵያ ሕዝብ ብሔራዊ መዝሙርን በጋራ እንድንዘምር በታላቅ አክብሮት እጠይቃለሁ። Ladies and gentlemen, to commence this momentous occasion, I now invite you all to rise for the national anthem of the people of Ethiopia.
Happy Global Entrepreneurship Week.
እጅግ በጣም እናመሰግናለን። Thank you all very much. እባካችሁ ተቀመጡ። ክብራትና ክብራን እንግዶቻችን እንግዲህ ዓለም አቀፉ የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ሳምንት ግሎባል ኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ዊክ በየዓመቱ ከ200 በላይ ሀገራት የሚያከብሩት ዓለም አቀፍ ሁነት ነው። በኢትዮጵያም ከ2007 ዓመተ ምህረት ጀምሮ እየተከበረ ያለ ሲሆን በተለይም ባለፈው ዓመት በሀገር አቀፍ ደረጃና በክልል ደረጃ የተከበረ ሲሆን ኢትዮጵያ ባዘጋጀቻቸው የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ እና ኢኖቬሽንን የሚያበረታቱ የሁነቶች ብዛት በአፍሪካ ሁለተኛ በዓለም አቀፍ ደረጃ ደግሞ 8ኛ ሆና አጠናቃ ያንን መልካም ዜና በጣም በከፍተኛ ድምቀትና ደስታ አወድሰን ነበር ያለፍነው አምና። እንግዲህ ለዚህም አሁንም ቢሆን ትልቅ አድናቆት የምንሰጠው ይሆናል። ኢትዮጵያ ከፍ እያለች እንደምትቀጥል ይጠበቃል። በዚህኛውም ይህም የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ እና ኢኖቬሽን ስነ ምህዳርን ለማሻሻል ሀገራችን እያደረገች ያለችውን ጥረት በዓለም አቀፍ ደረጃ እንዲታወቅ የነበረው አስተዋጽኦ ከፍ ያለ ነው። ዘንድሮም በላቀ መንፈስ ሳምንቱን በጋራ እንገንባ በሚል መሪ ቃል በዓሉ በልዩ ድምቀት እየተከበረ ይቆያል። በድጋሚ የዚህ በዓል አከባበር አካል ለመሆን እዚህ በታላቅ መድረክ ስለተገናኘን እጅግ በጣም እናመሰግናለን። በድጋሚ እንኳን ደህና መጣችሁ እንላለን። Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this year marks 18 years since the Global Entrepreneurship Network began its extraordinary mission of empowering people everywhere to unleash their ideas, helping millions start, scale new businesses across more than 200 countries. What began in 2008 as a spark to inspire young people has ignited into a global force. A movement of 10 million participants, 40,000 activities in every corner of the world, all united by one goal, removing barriers and empowering all. And Ethiopia's performance last year was an incredible phenomenon, ranking 2nd in Africa and 8th globally in the number of activities it organized to inspire entrepreneurship and innovation during the 2024 Global Entrepreneurship Week. This year's theme is Together We Build. ክብራትና ክብራን አሁን መላውን እንግዶቻችንን በተመለከተ ይህንንም ዝግጅት በተመለከተ አድሬስ እንዲያደርጉልን ንግግር እንዲያደርጉልን ግሎባል ኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ኔትወርክ ተወካይ የሆኑትን የሚስተር ጆናተን ኦትማንስ ቪዲዮ መልእክታቸውን እጋብዛለሁ። Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, to officially set the tone for this year's celebration, please join me in inviting Mr. Jonathan Ortmans from the Global Entrepreneurship Network for his video message. The video message will show now.
Happy Global Entrepreneurship Week 2025. How exciting it is that we're coming together once again as a world to celebrate the entrepreneurial spirit. Our theme this year, Together We Build, is most appropriate. We face a time in our world's history where too many of our nations have too many things to fight about. And so entrepreneurs are in many ways the new diplomats, because one thing we have in common across all national boundaries is a passion to solve, to build, to create, to form teams, to form communities. And we view the world as one global entrepreneurial ecosystem. So we hope during Global Entrepreneurship Week, we can celebrate the entrepreneurial spirit. We can celebrate all the things we have in common with each other. We can find new ways to support, collaborate, connect with each other. And we can look for ways that we too can be part of an entrepreneurial dream. If you are already an advocate for entrepreneurship and you're either supporting as an ecosystem leader or an investor, thank you for your work. You're doing incredibly important work at inspiring more of your citizens to be a part of this journey. However, if you have never experienced Entrepreneurship Week, you're the person we do Global Entrepreneurship Week for every year. Go kick the tires Find the events and activities in your community, not just during Global Entrepreneurship Week, but year round. Consider whether you have it in you. Do you have an idea? Do you want to work for someone with an idea? The world needs more entrepreneurs. This wonderful celebration we have is about encouraging more people like you to take the path, to take a risk, to figure out whether you could join a team, test an idea, and find a new way of doing something. So without further ado, I'll say happy Global Entrepreneurship Week. And remember that the journey in front of you is one where you're in a creative mode. And we hope that we will look forward to seeing more of you in some of the events and activities in the time to come.
A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, please, for Mr. Jonathan Ortmans, representing the Global Entrepreneurship Network. So thank him very much for that inspiring message and for championing an ecosystem where anyone, anywhere can pursue their entrepreneurial journey. ክብራትና ክብራን እንግዶቻችን በህዳር ወር በተለይ ሁኔታ ደግሞ ከህዳር 8 እስከ 14 ቀን 2018 ዓመተ ምህረት ዘንድሮ ለሰባት ተከታታይ ቀናት በመላው ዓለም የሚከበረው ይህ ዓለም አቀፍ ሁነት ኢትዮጵያ የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ስነ ምህዳር እንዲሻሻል የምታደርጋቸው ጥረቶች በዓለም መድረክ እንድትታወቅና ስራዋ እንዲመዘገብ በማድረግ ገጽታዋን ከፍ ለማድረግ የሚያግዙ ተግባራት እየተከናወኑበት ይገኛል። በዚህ መርሃ ግብር ላይ ቁልፍ መልእክቶች ይተላለፋሉ፣ አሳታፊ የፓነል ውይይቶች ይኖራሉ። በተጨማሪም ሽልማትና በሀገር አቀፍ ደረጃ የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ስነ ምህዳር ላይ አስተዋጽኦ ያላቸው ተዋናዮች እውቅና የሚያገኙም ይሆናል። ክብራትና ክብራን ከዚህ በመቀጠል ደግሞ የመድረክ ዝግጅት የሚቀርብልን ይሆናል። በጥሞና እንድትከታተሉ በአክብሮት እንጋብዛለን። Ladies and gentlemen, the Global Entrepreneurship Week is not only a celebration of ideas. It's a celebration of creativity, courage, and the innovative spirit that fuels transformation. To honor that spirit, we now present a special performance art piece capturing the journey of an idea from a spark to a breakthrough, from a hope to a global impact. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome ETL Circus Group to rock the stage and give us one big momentum as we celebrate the opening ceremony of the 2025 Global Entrepreneurship Week. Give them a big round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, ETL Circus Group presenting their amazing performance. featuring Together We Build. As we see the grand opening of the 2025 Global Entrepreneurship Week, we also witness youth power, youth energy, a stunning performance as we celebrate this wonderful opening ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, cheer them up please as you can. The Global Entrepreneurship Week Ethiopia edition 2025 is underway for its opening ceremony here today on the 17th of November 2025 here in Addis Ababa, proudly hosted by the Ministry of Labor and Skills of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia in collaboration with the Entrepreneurship Development Institute. We are witnessing an amazing performance by youth from the ETO Circus Group, showcasing their incredible and spectacular performance full of energy and execution. Together we build. An amazing performance, art performance here as we witness the grand opening ceremony of the 2025 Global Entrepreneurship Week. Ladies and gentlemen, as presented by the ETO Circus Group.
Our
A stunning show of flexibility, agility, and energy. Seamless transitions, inspiring messages of amazing flexibility and power, as shown as a girl power here on the stage, part of the 2025 GEW, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it is possible. That is when you're young. Please cheer them up, ladies and gentlemen. ETO Circus Group. Rising Africa. It's a great symbol and a great message on this grand occasion. Simply stunning. ETO Circus Group. Together We Build is an original Ethiopian circus production presented by ETO Circus Entertainment. This show highlights how collective strength, cooperation, and hope allow us to overcome challenge and build a brighter future. Wow, What a powerful portrayal of vision becoming a reality. But you're not cheering them up, ladies and gentlemen. Ethio Circus Entertainment. They gave us one amazing time on this opening ceremony. ክብራትና ክብራን እንግዶቻችን በኢትዮ ሰርከስ ኢንተርቴይንመንት የተዘጋጀው ይህ የሰርከስ ሾው we build together በጋራ እንገባ የሚለውን የዘንድሮውን መሪ ቃል ባሳየ ሪፍሌክት ባረገ መልኩ ነበር ያየነው። እጅግ በጣም የሚገርም ፐርፎርማንስ ነው። እንግዲህ የፌዴራል ስራና ክህሎት ሚኒስቴር ሀገራዊ ስራ ዕድል ፈጠራ የክህሎት ልማትና የአሰሪና ሰራተኛ ጉዳዮችን በበላይነት እንዲመራ ኃላፊነት የተሰጠው ተቋም ሲሆን ዋነኛ ትኩረቶቹም የሰለጠነ የሰው ኃይል አቅርቦትን ከገበያ ፍላጎት ጋር ማጣጣም፣ የቀጣይ የስራ ዕድሎችን ማረጋገጥ እና ፍትሃዊና ስነ ምህዳራዊ የስራ ልምዶችን በመላው ኢትዮጵያ በማስተዋወቅ ኃላፊነቱን በከፍተኛ ቁርጠኝነት እየተወጣ ይገኛል። ይህንንም ለማሳካት ደግሞ የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ እና ኢኖቬሽን የዘመናችን ሁነኛ የልማት መሳሪያዎች መሆናቸውን በመገንዘብ ሀገራችንም ወደ ሁለንተናዊ ብልጽግና በምታደርገው ታሪካዊ ጉዞ የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ እና ኢኖቬሽን መስፋፋት እውነተኛ አጋዥና አጋር በሆኑ በተለይ ያለፉት 4 ዓመታት በሀገራችን ኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ መስፋፋት ምቹ ጊዜያት ነበሩ። ለዚህም የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ልማት ኢንስቲትዩት መቋቋም አንዱ ምክንያት ሲሆን በኢትዮጵያ የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ታሪክ ውስጥም ይህ ወቅት ወርቃማ ጊዜ ነው ተብሎ ይጠራል። Ladies and gentlemen, as we continue, we turn to the champions who nurture this vision here at home, leaders who build local ecosystems, nurture grassroots innovation, and ensure that even the most distant and marginalized communities have a seat at the table. ክብራትና ክብራን ከዚህ በመቀጠል ክቡር ዶክተር ሐሰን ሁሴን የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ልማት ኢንስቲትዩት ዋና ዳይሬክተር መርሃ ግብሩን በማስመልከት የእንኳን ደህና መጣችሁ መልእክት እንዲያስተላልፉና ክብርት ወይዘሮ ሙፈሪያት ካሚል የፌዴራል ስራና ክህሎት ሚኒስቴር ሚኒስትር ይህን ታላቅ ዓመታዊ በዓል መከፈቱን እንዲያበስሩ ይጋብዙልኝ ዘንድ በታላቅ አክብሮት እጠራለሁ። ሞቅ ባለ ጭብጨባ ተቀበሉልኝ።
ክብርት ወይዘሮ ሙፈሪያት ካሚል የስራና ክህሎት ሚኒስቴር፣ ክቡራን ሚኒስትር ዴታዎች፣ የተከበራችሁ ከፍተኛ የስራ ኃላፊዎችና የተቋማት መሪዎች፣ እንዲሁም ጥሪ የተደረገላችሁ ይህንን በዓል ለማክበር ወደ ኢትዮጵያ የመጣችሁ ዜጎች፣ አምባሳደሮች፣ ጥሪ የተደረገላችሁ የተከበራችሁ የዘርፉ ባለድርሻ አካላት በሙሉ፣ አንትርፕረነሮች፣ የአንትርፕረነሮች ወዳጆች እንኳን ለ2018 የዓለም ኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ሳምንት አደረሳችሁ፣ እንኳን አደረሰላል። አንትርፕረነሮች ለችግሮቻችን አዳዲስ መፍትሄዎችን የሚያፈልቁ የፈጠራ መፍትሄዎች የሰማይ ዳቦ ወይም ከብቱ ምናብ ሆነው እንዳይቀሩ ወደ መሬት የሚያወርዱ ከጨለማ አሻግረው የብርሃን ጮራ የሚፈነጥቁ የተመኘነውን ምኞት እና ቅዠት ሆኖ እንዳይቀር አሳክተው የሚያሳዩን አይቻልም የተባለውን ችሎ የሚያሳዩን ህልምን ገቢር የሚያደርጉ ፈርቀዳጆች የማህበራዊ ለውጥ መሐንዲሶች የአድማስ ባሻገሩና የሩቁ የተስፋ ዳቦ ብቻ ሆኖ እንዳይቀር በእጃችን የሚያስጨብጡን ውድቀታቸውን እንደ መሳያ ሞረድ በመጠቀም ሁሌም እየተሳሉ እየተማሩና እየተሻሻሉ የሚሄዱ ባለራዕዮች፣ ደፋሪዎች፣ ከዋኔዎች፣ ደጋጎችና ቸሮች እነኚህን ነው ኢንተርፕረነር የምንላቸው። በዓለም የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ሳምንት የምንዘክራቸው እነኚህን ሀገር ሰሪዎችን ነው። የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ልማት ኢንስቲትዩት ይህንን የዓለም ኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ሳምንት በኢትዮጵያ ዘንድሮ ለ12ኛ ጊዜ ያከብራል። የዓለም ኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ሳምንት ከ200 በላይ ሀገራት እና እንደ ኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ልማት ኢንስቲትዩት ያሉ ከ4000 በላይ ድርጅቶችን የሚያሳትፍ የተግባር ጉዞ ነው። የዘንድሮ የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ሳምንት በተለያዩ ማርሽ ቀያሪ ስልጠናዎች፣ ውድድሮች፣ የፈጠራ ሀሳብ ውድድሮች፣ ጥናቶች እና ኩነቶች ታጅቦ የሚከበር ነው። በአመቱ በአጠቃላይ በሳምንቱ ደግሞ በተለይ ኢንተርፕረነሮችን በመዘከር እጅግ የሞቁ እንቅስቃሴዎችን በማድረግ በዓለም ደረጃ የመሪውን ሚና ከብራዚል በመረከብ ስናከብር በታላቅ አገራዊ ኩራት ነው። ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ ተጠንስሶ ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ የሚገደብ ስራ አይደለም የተያያዝ ነው። ገደብ ተሻጋሪ ነው ስራችን። የምንወዳደረው ከራሳችን ጋር ሳይሆን ከአህጉሩና ከዓለም ጋር ነው። የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕና ኢኖቬሽንን እንደ መሳሪያ በመጠቀም በሀገራችንና በአፍሪካችንም የአይበገሬ ሀብታም ባለጸጋ ግለሰቦች፣ ቤተሰቦች፣ ተቋማቶች፣ ማህበረሰቦች መዲና ማድረግ ነው የመጨረሻው ግባችን። ኢትዮጵያ የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ልማት ኢንስቲትዩትን አቋቁማ የስታርታፕ ህግ አውጥታ በይዘቱ የተለየና ሁለንተናዊ ዘርፈ ብዙ እሴት ፈጠራን መሰረት ያደረገ የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ፖሊሲን ቀርጻ በውይይት አዳብራ ፈጣን ልማት የሚያጎናጽፈውን የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ መንግስት የመገንባት ህልሟን እውን ለማድረግ ለኢንተርፕረነሮችና ለኢኖቬተሮች ምቹ የሆነ ስነ ምህዳር ለመገንባት እየተጋች ትገኛለች። ይህንን ካልኩ የዕለቱን የክብር እንግዳ ክብርት ሙፈሪያት ካሚል የስራና ክህሎት ሚኒስትር እንድትጋብዙልኝ በታላቅ አክብሮት ተጋብዛለሁ። ከላይ ለመጥቀስ እንደሞከርኩት ታሪካዊና ስኬታዊ የለውጥ ጉዞ እንደተጓዝን ለማንሳት ሞክሬያለሁ። ለዚህ ታላቅ ክብር ያበቁን አብሮን የተጓዙ እሳቸውም እንደ ቅድም እንደጠቀስኳቸው ፈርቀዳጅ የሆኑ ደፋር እኛንም እዚህ ያደረሱን በመሆኑ ሞቅ ባለ ጭብጨባ እንድትቀበሉልኝ ጠይቃለሁ።
ዶክተር ሀሰንን በአክብሮት ተቀበሉልኝ እስቲ። እንደምን አላችሁ? እንኳን አደረሳችሁ፣ እንኳን አደረሰን ማለት እፈልጋለሁ። በቅድሚያ እንግዶች እንዳሉ ይታየኛል። አይ ሆፕ ሽመልስ እሱኛውን ፓርቲ ያሳልጠዋል ብዬ አስባለሁ። እንደ ሁኔታው ደግሞ መድረኩ ከገፋፋኝ በሁለቱም መንገድ አሳልጠዋለሁ ማለት ነው። አማርኛም እንግሊዝኛም ቀላቅዬ ለማካሄድ እሞክራለሁ። የሩቅም የቅርብም እንግዶቻችን እንኳን ደህና መጣችሁ፣ እንኳን አደረሳችሁ፣ እንኳን አደረሰን ማለት እፈልጋለሁ። ክቡራን የስራና ክህሎት ሚኒስቴር ሚኒስትር ዴኤታዎች፣ ክቡር ዶክተር ሀሰን ሁሴን የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ልማት ኢንስቲትዩት ዋና ዳይሬክተር፣ የተከበራችሁ የስራና ክህሎት ቢሮ ኃላፊዎች፣ የተከበራችሁ የመከላከያ ሚኒስቴር ከፍተኛ መኮንኖች፣ ክቡራን ኢንተርፕረነሮች፣ ከፊትም ከኋላም ያላችሁ ሲኒየሮችም ጀማሪዎችም ሁላችሁም በዛሬው ቀን እዚህ ስለተገናኘን ምናልባትም አምባሳደሮችም ካላችሁ ሁሉም ፕሮቶኮሎች እንደተጠበቁ ሆኖ እንኳን ሰላም ተገናኘን ማለት እፈልጋለሁ። የዛሬው ዕለት ከኢቨንት ወይም ከበዓል ባሻገር የእስካሁኑን ጉዟችንን ቆም ብለን የምንዘክርበት ልምዶቻችንን ተሞክሮቻችንን የምናይበት ልንጠነክር ልንገፋ የሚገቡ ጉዳዮች ላይ ደግሞ ይበልጥ ስንቅ የምንሰንቅበት ነውና በየዓመቱ እንደዚህ አይነት ፕሮግራሞችን ማክበር የሚያስፈልገው ከኩነት ባሻገር ነው ማለት ነው። ኢትዮጵያና ኢትዮጵያውያንም ይህንን ፕሮግራም የምንመለከተው ዛሬ አይደለም። አንተርፕረነርሺፕን የጀመርነው ኢንስቲትዩሽናላይዝ ግን ያደረግነው አሁን ነው። ብዙ አንተርፕረነሮች ኢትዮጵያን አንቱ ያስባሉ፣ እንደ ግልም እንደ ቤተሰብም በዚህ ጉዳይ ላይ የተሰማሩ አንተርፕረነርስ ያሏት ሀገር ነች ኢትዮጵያ። አንተርፕረነርሺፕን ግን የመንግስቷ መለያ አድርጋ ለዚህ የሚሆኑ ተቋማትን መስርታ ለዚህ የሚሆን ህግ አበጅታ ካልቸሩን ወይም ባህሉን ለመገንባት ለመኮትኮት ጥረት ማድረግ የጀመረችው ያለፉት 7 ዓመታት አዲሱን የሪፎርም እሳቤ ተግባራዊ ማድረግ በጀመርንባቸው ጊዜያት በተለይም ደግሞ ያለፉት 4 ዓመታት የአንተርፕረነርሺፕ ምህዳርን በኢትዮጵያ ተቋማዊ ለማድረግ ዘለግ ያለ ርቀት የመጣንበት ቀላል ያልሆነ ትልቅ ጥረት የተደረገበት ጊዜ ስለነበረ ብቻችሁን ስትወጡ ስትወርዱ የነበራችሁ አንተርፕረነሮች ብዙ አጋዥ ብዙ ደጋፊ ያገኛችሁበት ወቅት ነው። በእርግጥም ከአንተርፕረነሮች ባሻገር ደግሞ የስነ ምህዳር ገንቢዎችም ብዙ ኢፈርት ስታደርጉ የነበራችሁባቸው ብዙ የብቸኝነት ጉዞዎቻችሁን ለመሙላት የሚያስችል ትልቅ የመንግስት ቁርጠኝነት መሪ መንግስት እንደ አካል አዛን ኤንቲቲ ሊደርሺፕ የሊደርሺፕ ቁንጮ ደግሞ አዘ ቻምፒየን ያለው ሀገር ነገ መዳረሻው የት እንደሆነ መገመት ብዙ የሚያዳግት አይደለም። ለዚህ የሚሆኑ በጣም ብዙ ምቹ ሁኔታዎች ያሉበት ሀገር ነው። ብዝሃነታችንን ጸጋ አድርገን እንጠቀመው ስንል የሀሳብ ብዝሃነት ያለበት ሀገር እንደመሆኑ መጠን ለፈጠራ አንተርፕረነር ለሆነ ካልቸር ግንባታ አንድ መነሻ ግብአት ነው ማለት ነው። ከዛ ባሻገር በተለይ ላለፉት 2 ዓመታት ስነ ምህዳሩን ምቹ ለማድረግ ማነቆ የነበሩ ጉዳዮችን ለመፍታት የሚያስችሉ አዳዲስ ህጎችን አሰራሮችን የለውጥ ውጤት የሆነው የአንተርፕረነርሺፕ ዲቨሎፕመንት ኢንስቲትዩት ወይም ልማት ኢንስቲትዩት በራሱ መነሻና አሁን የደረሰበት ደረጃ ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ ያለውን የአንተርፕረነርሺፕ ስነ ምህዳርን የማሳደግ የማስፋት ፍላጎት አብይ ማሳያ ተደርጎ ሊወሰድ ይችላል። ዶክተር ሀሰን ሀምብል ሆኖ ብዙ አልተናገረም። ነገር ግን ላለፉት 4 ዓመታት የአንተርፕረነርሺፕ ልማት ኢንስቲትዩት ባልተለመደ መልኩ በእርግጥም የአንተርፕረነርሺፕ ካልቸር ዲማንድ በሚያደርገው መሰረት ግን ተገቢ ይመስለኛል። ከመንግስት ሀብት የማይጠብቅ ሀብት የማይፈልግ ስላልፈለገ አይደለም። ጠባቂነትን አስወግዶ ሀብት መፍጠር እንደሚቻል ያንን አስተሳሰብ ብሬክ ማድረግ ስለተፈለገ እኔ ዊትነስ ነኝ። የአንተርፕረነርሺፕ ልማት ኢንስቲትዩት ከመንግስት የሚመደብ ሀብት ቀርቶብኝ ጥሬ ግሬ እሴት አክዬ ሀብት ላመንጭ ብሎ ሲል መግደርደሪያ ማስፈራሪያ የሚሆን ጥቂት 100 ሺዎች ወይም ሚሊዮኖችን ኦውን ማድረግ የቻለ ተቋም ስለነበር አልነበረም። ግን ትልቅ ልብ ደፋር አመራር ስለነበረው እስቲ በአዲስ አይነት መንገድ ተቋም መገንባትን እንለማመድ ብለን ስንመክር በአንድ ልብ በአንድ አፍ ማለት የቻለ መሪና ቲም ስለነበረው ተቋሙ ይሄንን ነጻነት ደግሞ ሁሌ እናገረዋለሁ። ሁሌ መናገር በጣም ጠቃሚ ነው ብዬ ስለማስብ ነው። በዚህ ጉዳይ ላይ ብዙ የታሰሩ አመለካከቶች መፈታት አለባቸው። ብዙ የታሰሩ አእምሮች ነጻ መውጣት አለባቸው። ሀሳብ ካለ ሀብት መፍጠር እንደሚቻል ራሳችን ፕሩፍ ኦፍ ኮንሰፕቱ መስራት ይችላል። ከብዙ ሰው ጋር በቀላሉ እንደማያስማማኝ ይገባኛል። መነሻ ነገር ትንሽ ነገር እንኳን የሚል ማስተባበያ ሀሳብ ይነሳል። ነገር ግን የመጀመሪያው ዘር ገንዘብ አይደለም ብዬ በጽኑ እንዳምን ከሚያደርጉኝ ሂደቶች ውስጥ አንዱ የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ልማት ኢንስቲትዩት ያለፈበት ጆርኒ ነው። ይሄ ሲባል ለስራ ገንዘብ አያስፈልግም ማለት አይደለም። ገንዘብን የሚያመጣ ሀሳብ፣ ገንዘብን የሚፈጥር ሀሳብ ባለቤቶች መሆናችንን ግን ማረጋገጥ ይፈልጋል። ደጋግሜ እናገረዋለሁ ያልኩት ይሄን እድል እንድንፈጥር የተሰጠን የስራ ነጻነት። ብዙዎቻችሁ እዚህ ያላችሁ በተደጋጋሚ ያገኘኋቸው አይመስለኝም። ጥቂት ፊቶች በተደጋጋሚ ያገኘኋቸው ፊቶች ታዝቤያለሁኝ። ይህን ተቋም እንዴት እንፍጠረው የሚል ጥያቄ ለክቡር ጠቅላይ ሚኒስትር ስናቀርብ ይሄ ተቋም ለስራና ክህሎት ሚኒስቴር ተጠሪ እንደሚሆን ካወቅን በኋላ ተቋም ስናቋቁም ይሆናል ባላችሁት መንገድ ስሩት፣ የተለየ ተልዕኮ ያለው ተቋም እንዲሆን ይፈልጋል፣ ይሆናል ባላችሁት መንገድ ግን ስሩት የሚል ነጻነት ነበር የተሰጠን። ይህንን ነጻነት ፕሮፐርሊ ተጠቅመነዋል ብዬ አምናለሁ። ይሄ ነጻነት ሲሰጠን በተለየ መንገድ ይሄን ተቋም እንዴት እንስራው ብለን መክረናል። ይሄ ተቋም ከመንግስት ሀብት የማይጠብቅ ይልቁኑ የመንግስት ተቋምም ሆኖ ሀብት መፍጠር እንደሚቻል ማሳየት የሚችል መንግስት ትልቅ ሚና አለው እዚህ ሀገር ውስጥ። የመንግስትን ሚና ትራንስፎርም በማድረግ ረገድ አይነተኛ ሚና የሚጫወት የግል ዘርፉ ለሚያደርገው ጥረት ምቹ ሜዳና መደላድል የሚፈጥር ተቋም አድርገን እንገንባው የሚል ስምምነት ነው የነበረን። ይሄ ስምምነት ወደ መሬት እንዲወርድ በማድረግ ሂደት የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ልማት ኢንስቲትዩት አመራር፣ ማኔጅመንት በተለይም ዶክተር ሀሰን ክሎዝሊ አብረውት ከሚንቀሳቀሱት ቲሞች ጋር ሆነው የወሰዱት እርምጃ አቅጣጫውን ወደ መሬት ለማውረድ ያሳዩት ትጋት ክቡር ጠቅላይ ሚኒስትር ተቋማትን ኢምፓወር ያደረጉበት መንገድ የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ካልቸር አስተሳሰብ ተቋማዊ እንዲሆን ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ ትልቁን መሰረት ጥሏል። ለእኛ ለኢትዮጵያውያን ይሄ ትርጉም አለው። አንደኛ እየቻልን ያልቻልናቸው ያዋልን ያሳደርናቸው በርካታ ጉዳዮች እንደነበሩን ማየት ችለናል። በሂደቱ ተምረናል። በአንድ የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ልማት ኢንስቲትዩት አልቆመም። ኦኬ ተቋሙ እንደዛ ሆነ ዘንድ ምን ተፈጠረ? ለ10 ዓመታት ፕሮጀክት ሆኖ ጥሩ ዘር ለመዝራት ሲሞክር ቆይቷል። ለተከታታይ 10 ዓመታት መስራት ያልቻላቸውን ጉዳዮች በአንድ ዓመት ከአንድ ዓመት ባጠረ ጊዜ የሚያሳካቸው ትልልቅ ነገሮች አሉ። የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ልማት ኢንስቲትዩት ይህንን ጉዳይ ተቋማዊ ማድረግ የኢትዮጵያ አንዱና ትልቁ ስኬት መሆኑ አይ ቲንክ በዛሬው ዕለት ታውሰው ማለፍ ካለባቸው ስኬቶች አንዱ ነው የሚል እምነት ስላለኝ ነው ይሄንን ማካፍላችሁ። ሁለተኛ ብዙ ተዋንያን ብቻቸውን ይዳክሩ የነበሩ ተዋንያንን ለማሰባሰብ የሚያስችል አውድ መፍጠር አስችሏል። ለኢትዮ ሰርከስ የሰጠነው ሞራል እኔም ትንሽ አንሶብኛልና ንፉግ ሆን እንዴ ብያለሁኝ። ምክንያቱም የዛሬውን መድረክ ሰብሰብ አድርጎ ማሳየት የሚችል ቆይታ ነው የነበረው። በአንድ በኩል ወጣት ውስጥ ያለውን ጉልበትና ኃይል ያሳያል። ፌል ሲያደርግ አይታችኋል አይደል? ፌል አረግን ብሎ ዲስካሬጅድ ሆነ አይደለም የቆሙት። ሞራል አሰባስበው መልሰው በተሻለ ደረጃ ፐርፎርም አረጉ። ዳትስ ኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ። የኛም ጆርኒ በዛ መልኩ በደንብ መገለጽ ይችላል ብዬ ነው ማስበው። ወደፊት አይ ሆፕ ሁሌ መጨቀጭቃቸው እና ፕሮባብሊ ኔክስት ይር ሪያላይዝ ያደርጉታል ብዬ ማስበው አንዱ ስፖርት አንተርፕረነርሺፕ ነው። ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ በጣም ብዙ ታለንት እና ፖቴንሻል አለ። ሶ ኢንስቲትዩሽናላይዝ አድርገናል፣ ፖሊሲ አለን፣ ተቋም ገንብተናል። ብዙ አክተሮችን በዚህ ዙሪያ ፕሌየሮችን ማሰባሰብ ጀምረናል። ተቋሞቻችን የስልጠና የትምህርት ተቋሞቻችን በየአመቱ ሚሊየንስ ኦፍ ዩዝ በእነሱ በኩል ያልፋል። የቲቬት ተቋሞቻችንን ከወሰድን የማሰልጠን አቅማቸው 6 ሚሊዮን ገደማ ተጠግቷል በአመት እንደ ሀገር። ከ1800 በላይ ተቋማት አሉን። እነዚህ ተቋማት አንተርፕሪኒየር የሆነ ኮሌጆች፣ ኢንስቲትዩትስ፣ ፖሊቴክኒክስ መሆን ከቻሉ የአንተርፕረነርሺፕ መፍለቂያ መፈልፈያዎች ይሆናሉ። በአጭር ጊዜ ያየነው አዎንታዊ ውጤት ከዚህ ጋር ይያያዛል። ላለፉት አመታት ከተሰሩ ስራዎች ጋር ተቋም ማቋቋም ብቻ አይደለም ማለት ነው። ፍሬውን መልቀም ጀምረናል። ብዙ ወጣቶች የአዳዲስ ቢዝነሶች የአዳዲስ ፈጠራዎች ባለቤቶች መሆን ጀምረዋል። አንተርፕረነርሺፕ አይ ሆፕ በጣም ብዙ ሳይቆይ የብዙሃን የማሰቢያ መንገድ የሚሆን ለመሆኑ በአጭር ጊዜ ያየናቸው ውጤቶች አመላካች ናቸው ብዬ አስባለሁ። በዛሬው ዕለት እነዚህን ብርቱ አንተርፕረነሮችም ሆነ የምህዳር ግንባታ ስራችንን ለመዘከር የተሰባሰብንበት መድረክ መጪው ጊዜ የበለጠ ብሩህ መሆኑን የትምህርት ስርዓታችን አካል ለመሆን እየተደረጉ ያሉ ጥረቶች ኦልሬዲ የስልጠና ስርዓታችን አካል ሆኗል። አንተርፕረነርሺፕን ደጋግመው አሰልጣኞች ሲናገሩ የምሰማው ኮርሱን ነፃ የማውጣት እንቅስቃሴ ሪያላይዝ ማድረግ ተችሏል። አንተርፕረነርሺፕ ኮርስ ብቻ ሳይሆን ስርዓት ሆኖ ተግባራዊ መደረግ ጀምሯል። ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ ብዙ ሰው ኮርሱን ያውቅ ይሆናል፣ ግን ስርዓት መሆን ችሏል። በቅርቡ በክቡር ጠቅላይ ሚኒስትራችን የተጻፈው መጽሐፍ መንግስት እንዴት አንተርፕረነር መሆን እንዳለበትና እንደሚገባው ግልጽ የሆነ ፍኖት ሰጥቷል። በመንግስት ውስጥ የሚረጋገጠው ትራንስፎርሜሽን እዛው ሳለ በግል ዘርፍ ውስጥ ያለውን ፖቴንሻል አንሊሽ ለማድረግ የሚያስችል ትልቅ የእድል በር የሚከፍት መሆኑን የሚያሳይ ነው። በእያንዳንዱ ዘርፍ ማን ምን ማድረግ እንዳለበት በግልጽ አመራር የሚሰጥ ነው። የግል ዘርፉን ማነቆ መፍታት ብቻ ሳይሆን ምቹ ሁኔታ መፍጠር ብቻ ሳይሆን ይበልጥ ትራንሴንድ እንዲያደርግ ኢትዮጵያ ጋር የሚቆም የዓለምንም ችግር የሚፈቱ ኢትዮጵያውያን አንተርፕረነሮችን የማፍራት ትልም ያለው ነው። የአንተርፕረነርሺፕ መነሻና መዳረሻ መነሻው ሀገር ሊሆን ይችላል፣ መዳረሻው ግን ባህር የሚያቋርጥ ባህር የሚሻገር ነው። ይህንን ጉልበቱን የተገነዘበ ግልጽ ፍኖት ነው ማለት ነው። ትናንት ማታ ምናልባት ሚዲያ ላይ አይታችሁ ይሆናል ኢናጉሬት ያደረግነው በጣም ትልቅ ሴንተር፣ ሌላ የወጣቶቻችን ተስፋ ዲጂታል ኢኮኖሚውን የሌት ካሜራ አድቫንቴጃችንን ተጠቅመን አንሊሽ ለማድረግ የሚያስችል ኤአይ እና መሰል ጉዳዮችን መሰረት ያደረገ ትልቅ ሴንተር እና ስርዓት ከሴንተርም የሚሻገር ስርዓት ማለት ነው። ኢንድ ቱ ኢንድ ስታርታፖችን በዚህ ዘርፍ ያሉ ስታርታፖችን እስከ መዳረሻው ድረስ ማገናኘት የሚችል ትልቅ ስርዓት ነው ይፋ የተደረገው። እነዚህን ሁሉ ጉዳዮች ወስደን ካየን ምንም እንኳን የአንተርፕረነርሺፕ ዊክ ኢቨንቶችን ቆጥሮ ይሄኛው ሀገር እዚህኛው ያኛው ሀገር እዚህኛው ደረጃ ነው ብሎ ይፋ ቢያደርግም ኢትዮጵያ እየሰራች ያለችው ስራ ከኩነት የተሻገረ ስርዓት ለመገንባት የሚያስችል ርብርብን ማዕከል ያደረገ ነው ማለት ነው። እኔ አንደኛ የወጣ ነው በኩነት ብዛት ነው የሚል መረዳት የለኝም። ተሳስቼ ይሆን አላወኩኝም። ምክንያቱም ስብሰባዎቹ ኩነቶቹ ዝም ብለው የተፈጠሩ አይደሉም። የሚነገር ይዘት የሚቆጠር ፋክት ስላላቸው እየተካሄዱ ያሉ ናቸው። እያከበርን ያለነው ወይም እዚህ የተገናኘንበት ዓላማ ከኩነት የተሻገረ ከመቼውም ጊዜ በላይ የመንግስት ቁርጠኝነት የታየበት ፖለቲካል ዊል ብቻ ሳይሆን ፖለቲካል ኮሚትመንት የተረጋገጠበት ፖዚሽን ላይ ሆነን ብዙ ቻምፒዮኖችን አፍርተን በመሪ ደረጃ ትልቅ ጉዳይ ተደርጎ ስልጠና ተሰጥቶበት ተቋም ተፈጥሮ ጽሁፍ ተጽፎበት አመላካች ፍኖት ተዘጋጅቶለት እየተመራ ያለ ስርዓት ስለሆነ ቀሪው እዚህ ቤት ያለን ሰዎች ለጉዳዩ ባለን ቅርበት ይሄንን ስራ እንዴት ወደ ላቀ ደረጃ እናደርሰዋለን የሚል የቤት ስራ የምንወስድበት ነው። ዛሬን ጨምሮ ዛሬ ይፋ የምናደርገውን ፕሮግራም ጨምሮ በቀጣይ ቀናት በአንድ በኩል በርከት ያሉ ተቋማት እኔ ማስተባበረውን ተቋም ጨምሮ አንተርፕረነርሺፕን ሜይንስትሪም ያደረግንበት ፓብሊክ አንተርፕረነርሺፕ ምናልባት በሚኖሩ ፓነሎች ከቨር ይደረግ ይሆናል። በኢትዮጵያ ደረጃ ለመጀመሪያ ጊዜ የተለመደው እስካሁን እንግዲህ ከፕራይቬት የመጣችሁ ሰዎች ይቅር ትሉኛላችሁ ድንበር ጥሼ ከሆነ እንደዚህ አይነት አዳዲስ ስርዓቶችና አሰራሮች ባለቤታቸው ፕራይቬት ሴክተር ብቻ ተደርጎ ይታይ ከነበረበት አመለካከት ተሻግረን መንግስት ይሄን የሚያህል ግዙፍ ሀገር የሚመራ መንግስት የእንደዚህ አይነት አዳዲስ የፈጠራ ሀሳቦችና ስራዎች ባለቤት ቻምፒየን ሆኖ ወደሚንቀሳቀስበት ስርዓት ተሸጋግረን ባለንበት ሁኔታ ነው የምንገኘው። የመጀመሪያው መንግስታዊ ላብ በፓብሊክ አንተርፕረነርሺፕ የኛ ሚኒስቴር መስሪያ ቤት አቋቁሞ ተግባራዊ በማድረግ ላይ ይገኛል። አንድ ተቋም ጋር ደግሞ የሚቆም አይደለም፣ እያደገ እየሰፋ ይሄድ ይሆናል። ሌሎች ተቋማትም መሰል ስራዎችን ኤክሰርሳይዝ ማድረግ የጀመሩበት ነው። በራሳቸው ልዩ ባህሪ ደግሞ ፉል ፍሌጅድ የሆነ የአንተርፕረነርሺፕ ስርዓት ተግባራዊ ያደረጉ ያሉ ሌሎች ተቋማትም አሉ ማለት ነው። አሁን ስማቸውን ብዙ መዘርዘር የማያስፈልገኝ እዚህ ይሄ ጉዳይ ዘለግ ያለ ርቀት እየሄደ ስላለ ይበልጥ ወደሚቀጥለው ምዕራፍ ማሸጋገር የሚጠይቀን ይሆናል ማለት ነው። ይሄ የኛ የቤት ስራ ነው። ምህዳሩን ለግል ዘርፉ ምቹ ከማድረግ አኳያ በቅርብ ቀን ያቋቋምነውን የዩዝ አንተርፕረነርስ ባንክ ኢንቨስትመንት ባንክ ጨምሮ ይሄም በኢትዮጵያ ሰማይ ስር የሆነ ነው ማለት ነው። ብዙ ነገሮች ሩቅ የሚመስሉ ቅርብ እንዲሆኑ ማድረግ እየተቻለ ነው። ባንኮቻችን ትራዲሽናል እና ኮንቬንሽናል ከሆነው የብድር ስርዓት አትሊስት አስተሳሰባቸውን ቻሌንጅ ለማድረግ የሚያስችል ሌጋል ፕሮቪዥን እንዲኖር ከዛም የተሻገረ ደግሞ ያለ ኮላተራል ለአይዲያ ፋይናንስ ማድረግ ወደሚችሉበት ስርዓት እየተንደረደሩ ነው ያለው። ቢዮንድ ኢቨንት ነው ስል ዝም ብዬ እንደው በድፍረት የምንመኘውን ነገር ብቻ ለማለት ሳይሆን በአጭር ጊዜ ማየት የጀመርናቸው ሲግናሎች አሉ። እንደ ስኪል ኢትዮጵያ አይነት ፕሮግራሞች ደግሞ በርካታ ወጣቶች ስኪል ኢትዮጵያ በየአመቱ ወጣቶች በተለያየ ፕሮግራም ኮምፒት እያደረጉ ቤስት የሆነ ሀሳብ ያላቸው ወጣቶች ስራዎቻቸውን ወደ ስታርታፕ ወደ ተለያየ ስቴጅ እያሸጋገሩ ፕሮባብሊ በቅርቡ ዩኒኮርን የመሆን ፖቴንሻል ያላቸው ወጣቶችንም እንደዚሁ ለይተን እያበቃን ያለንበት ጅምር ስራ አለ። ከዊል የተሻገረ ኮሚትመንት ከኮሚትመንትም ዘለግ ያለ በደንብ የሚቆጠር የሚዳሰስ ስርዓት ውስጥ መግባት ጀምረናልና የዛሬ አይነቱ ፕሮግራም ብዙ ባለድርሻና ባለሚና አካላትን የሚያገናኝ ስለሆነ አሳይመንቶቻችንን ተከፋፍለን ጥሩ የማዋለጃ ስፍራ ለወጣቶቻችን ማበጀት ተችሏል። የሐሳብ ማዋለጃ ስፍራዎቹን ይበልጥ ማሳደግ ማስፋት በግል ዘርፉ የተሰማራችሁ ተዋንያን ሚናችሁን ከስካሁን በላቀው በመወጣት ኢትዮጵያ በርግጥም የአንተርፕረነሮች መፍለቂያ ስለ ኢትዮጵያ ሲታሰብ ፊት ለፊት እንዲመጣ የሚፈለገው ፓወርፉል ወጣቶቿ እንዲሆኑ ማድረግ ላይ ሁላችንም እጅ ለእጅ ተያይዘን መሄድ ከቻለን ጉዟችን በጣም ብሩህ ብዙ ሳይርቅ ታሪካችንን መቀየር የምንችል ብዙ እድሎች አሉን፣ ብዙ ጸጋዎች አሉን። እነዚህን ጸጋዎቻችንን አስቀምጠን ሌላ አማራጭ ማማተር ነውር ሊሆን የሚገባን ኩሩ ህዝቦች ነን። በዚህ ላይ የማይስማማ ካለ ማወቅ ፈልጋለሁ። ኩሩ ህዝቦች ነን። ጥርጥር አላችሁ? አልመሰለኝም። ጥርጣሬ ያለው ሰው ሳይኖር አይቀርም። ፕሮባብሊ የዛሬ አመት ተመልሰን ስናከብር በዚህ ጉዳይ ላይ የመነጋገሪያ ርዕሳችን ከፍ ያለ እንደሚሆን አልጠራጠርም። ለዛሬው ግን የዓለም መሪ መሆን ዝም ብሎ የመጣ አይደለም፣ የስራ ውጤት ነው። የአንተርፕረነርሺፕ ልማት ኢንስቲትዩት እንግዲህ ከብራዚል ጋር ኔክ ቱ ኔክ ነበር 2 days ago በዚሁ ፕሮግራም። ከትናንት ጀምሮ ደግሞ አይ ቲንክ ኢትዮጵያ ነች ሊድ እያደረገች ያለችው። የቀዳሚነትና የቀዳሚዎች ሀገር ነች። ላንድ ኦፍ ኦሪጂንስ ሲባል በጣም በብዙ መንገድ ስለሆነ ብዝሃነታችን ይህንን ባህል ለመኮትኮት ለማሳደግ እድል የሚፈጥር እንዲሆን እመኛለሁ። እጅ ለእጅ ተያይዘን ከተመምን ምኞት ብቻ ሆኖ እንደማይቀር እስካሁኑ ጉዟችን ያሳያል ብዬ ነው የማምነው። ቀሪው ጊዜ የተሳካ እንዲሆን እየተመኘው ፕሮግራሙ በይፋ መከፈቱን አበስራለሁ። ይሄ ፕሮግራም የተሳካ እንዲሆን አበርክቶ ለነበራችሁ ድርጅቶች፣ አካላት፣ ግለሰቦች፣ የአንተርፕረነርሺፕ ልማት ኢንስቲትዩት አመራሮች በሙሉ ልባዊ ምስጋናዬ ይድረሳችሁ። እጅግ አድርጌ አመሰግናለሁ።
ክብርት ወይዘሮ ሙፈሪያት ካሚል የኢፌዴሪ ስራና ክህሎት ሚኒስትርና የዚህ ታላቅ ዓመታዊ ክብረ በዓል የግሎባል ኤንተርፕረነርሺፕ ዊክ ተባባሪ አዘጋጅ ተባባሪ ያልኩት ተጠሪ ተቋማቸው የኤንተርፕረነርሺፕ ልማት ኢንስቲትዩት አብረው በመሆን ነው ያቀረቡት። በጣም እጅግ በጣም እናመሰግናለን። ይህንን መርሃ ግብር በይፋ ከፍተውልናል። እንዲሁም ክቡር ዋና ዳይሬክተር ዶክተር ሀሰንንም እጅግ በጣም እናመሰግናለን። በጋራ እንኳን ደህና መጣችሁ እንኳን ደስ አላችሁ ብትሉልን ደግሞ እኛ ደስ ይለናል በጣም። ክብርት የጠቀሷቸው እጅግ በጣም በርካታ ማይልስቶንስ ነበሩ። It will be a daring experience if I really dare to translate everything she said. The incredible journey her institution has traveled in realizing Ethiopia's entrepreneurship ecosystem was an amazing one, and she has shared a huge amount of information as to how and what the government has been doing, particularly her institution and the institutions under her. So thank you so very much, Your Excellency Madam Mufariyat, for those illuminating remarks and challenges
to think boldly and act collectively. Thank you also, Your Excellency, Director General Dr. Hassan, for the warm and thoughtful welcome, and congratulations to those for successfully co-organizing this colorful event. Another round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. ክብራትና ክብራን እንግዲህ የኢፌዴሪ ስራና ክህሎት ሚኒስቴርና የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ልማት ኢንስቲትዩት በየዓመቱ ከሚያከብሯቸው የስነ ምህዳሩ ማሳለጫ መንገዶች መካከል ዓለም አቀፍ የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ሳምንት ወይም ግሎባል ኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ዊክ አንዱ ነው። ይህ ሳምንት በዓለም መድረክ ኢንተርፕረነሮች ሐሳባቸውን ወደ ተግባር የሚቀይሩ፣ አዲስ ስራ የሚጀምሩ፣ ምጣኔ ሀብታዊ እድገትን የሚመሩና ሰብአዊ ደህንነትን የሚያስፋፉ የአዲስ ነገር ፈጣሪዎች፣ የንግድ ስራ ፈጣሪዎች ወይም ኢንተርፕረነሮች እና የስራ ዕድል ፈጣሪዎች ትልቁ ክብረ በዓላቸው ነው። Ladies and gentlemen, Global Entrepreneurship Week is unique, not just because it happens across borders and cultures, but because the connections made during this week last far beyond the closing ceremony. Global Entrepreneurship Week is a catalyst, a bridge, a spark. It celebrates entrepreneurs. It exposes people to the path of innovation, and it helps them connect to the resources, capital, mentors, policies, and networks that help ideas grow. እንግዲህ ክብራትና ክብራን እንግዶቻችን ቅድም በክብርት ሚኒስትር እንደተጠቀሰው እስካሁን ባለው የሁነቶች ክንዋኔ መረጃ መሰረት በየቀኑ ሊለዋወጥ ይችላል። ዘንድሮ አምና ኢትዮጵያ ከነበረችበት ደረጃ ከፍ ብላ ከ4300 በላይ የሆኑ ሁነቶችን ከህዳር 1 ጀምሮ በማስመዝገብ እስከ ዛሬዋ ዕለት ድረስ ባለው የዓለም አቀፍ ደረጃ አንደኛ ሆና እየመራች ነው። በድጋሚ እንኳን ደስ ያለን እንላለን። Ladies and gentlemen, as we prepare to dive into this year's themes, let's reflect on how far we've come. GEW in Ethiopia has grown from small gatherings to a nationwide movement, amplifying voices, nurturing talent, and expanding opportunity. As of today, Ethiopia tops the 2025 Global Entrepreneurship Week leaderboard ahead of this grand opening in the number of GEW activities it has been carrying out so far, totaling over 4,300 of them. A landmark achievement signaling the rise of Ethiopia's innovation-driven economy and social transformation. Another huge congratulations to Ethiopia and also the Ministry of Labor and Skills as well as the Entrepreneurship Development Institute. ክብራትና ክብራን አሁን የምናልፈው ደግሞ የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ አከባበር በኢትዮጵያ እስካሁን ምን ይመስል እንደነበረ ወደሚያስቃኘን ዝግጅት ነው የምንሄደው። እንድትከታተሉ ነው የምንጋብዘው። Now please turn your attention to the screen for a video recap of past GEW celebrations in Ethiopia.
የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ዊክ ባለፉት አመታት በተለያየ መልኩ ስናከብር ቆይተናል። በጣም የምንፈልገው የውስጥ አቅማችንን ለማነሳሳት የውስጥ አቅማችንን ለመጠቀም ነው በጣም የምንፈልገው። እግረ መንገዱን ደግሞ የዓለም አንድ ክፋይ ነንና ከዓለም ጋር መተሳሰሪያ ገመዳችን ነው። ስለዚህ የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ዊክ ባህሉን ለመገንባት አስተሳሰቡ ስር እንዲሰድ ተደብቆ ካለበት እንዲያንሰራራ እንዲገለጥ ለማድረግ እጅጉን ጠቃሚ መንገድ ሆኖ አግኝተነዋል።
አቂነት ያለው የኢኮኖሚ ሽግግር ውስጥ መግባት ይቻል ዘንድ ማዕከል ማድረግ ያለብን ስራ ፈጣሪው ላይ የተመሰረተ ኢኮኖሚ መገንባት ስንችል ነውና ወጣቶቻችን ሀሳባቸውን ወደ ሀብት መለወጥ ይችሉ ዘንድ ስራ መፍጠር ይችሉ ዘንድ የስራ ዕድልና ሀብት መፍጠር ይችሉ ዘንድ የተመቸ ስነ ምህዳር የተገነባበት ሀገር እውን መሆን መቻል አለበት።
የዛሬ 5 ዓመት እቅዳችን ምንድነው? ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ 5 ሚሊዮን የስራ ዕድል መፍጠር ነው።
አሁን 4 ኪሎ ላይ ትልቅ ህንፃ እየሰራ ነው። ትንሽ መስል ትልቅ ሀሳብ ያለው የኢስት አፍሪካ ፕሮባብሊ የምስራቅ አፍሪካ የሲፒዲ ኮንቲኒዩስ ፕሮፌሽናል ዲቨሎፕመንት ኤንድ ሄልዝ ሴንተር እንዲሆን አስበን የምንሰራው ነው።
አክቲቭ ሶሳይቲ እየፈጠርን ነው ወይ?
ድርጅታችን ላይ ሶፍትዌር ነው የምንሰራው። ዓለም አቀፍ ደረጃ ኢንዱስትሪው ላይ ተወዳዳሪ ለመሆን ሃርድ ከረንሲዎች ለማምጣት ለሀገርም በጣም አበርክቶ ለማበርከትና በዚሁ አጋጣሚ በጣም ከፍተኛ የገበያ ማርኬት ኒድ ወዳለው ኢንዱስትሪ ወጣቶች እንዲገቡ ኢንቫይት ማድረግ እፈልጋለሁ።
የአንድ ሀገር እድገት በኢንተርፕረነሮች ይረጋገጣል። የድሮ የኢኮኖሚ መሰረት ካፒታል፣ መሬትና የሰው ኃይል ነው። አራተኛው ኢንተርፕረነር ነው።
Entrepreneurship offers a path for economic empowerment, social progress, and sustainable development.
ኢትዮጵያ በቃ የህዝብ ትርፍ አላት። በጣም ብዙ ሀገሮች ቢንፈራገጡም የላቸውም። አሁን ይህን ህዝብ ይህን ወጣት ህዝብ እጅግ በጣም ወደሚጠቅም አገር ለዋጭ ቢዝነስ የሚቀይር ሀብት የሚያፈራ ትውልድ የሚያደርገው የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ክህሎት ነው።
ትልቅ ማይልስቶን ነበረው ብዬ አስባለሁ ለኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ which means awareness እና እንትን ፈጥሮልናል፣ ቪዚቢሊቲ ፈጥሯል። ኢንተርፕረነሩን አለንላችሁ we see you and አብረናችሁ ነን የሚለውን ነገር አይተንበታል። again በጣም እናመሰግናለን።
የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ስራ ዝም ብሎ የሚሳካ ዝም ብሎ የሚመጣ አይደለም። ሪል የሆነ የቲም ወርክ የሚፈልግ ስራ ነው። ኢንስፓይሬሽን አት ኢንዲቪጁዋል ሌቭል፣ ዲስራፕሽን አት ኢንስቲትዩሽናል ሌቭል፣ ትራንስፎርሜሽን አት ናሽናል ሌቭል ለማረጋገጥ የሚያስችል ስራ ላለፉት 3 ዓመታት ትርጉም ባለው ደረጃ የተሰራበት ነበር። ለኢንተርፕረነሮች መነሻችሁ ኢትዮጵያ ልትሆን ትችላለች፣ መቆሚያችሁ ግን ዓለም ነው መሆን ያለበት። ኢትዮጵያውያን ዓለም ላይ ላለ ችግር መድህንና መፍትሄ መሆን እንችላለን።
Honorable ladies and gentlemen, that was a recap of how the Global Entrepreneurship Week has been happening in Ethiopia over the past few years with incredible voices coming to the stage, renowned entrepreneurs from Ethiopia, the change makers, the players, the grand players were coming to the event, showcasing their incredible performance and giving symbolic presentation to the youth in Ethiopia. So please, another big round of applause to all those who have traveled with us to date, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. ክብራትና ክብራን እንግዶቻችን እንግዲህ አሁን ያየነው ባለፉት ጥቂት ዓመታት የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ሳምንትን ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ ከማክበር አኳያ ምን ያህል ርቀት እንደሄድን ከየት ተነስተን በተለይ በሀገራችን እጅግ የታወቁ ኤንተርፕረነሮችን ስራ ፈጣሪዎችን ላንድስኬፑን እጅግ በጣም ሪች እንዲሆን ያደረጉ ሰዎችን ወደ ፊት በማምጣት ለወጣቶቻችን ምሳሌ በመፍጠር እያበለጸግ ነው። እነሆ ዛሬ በዓለም ደረጃ አንደኛ የሆነ የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ሳምንት አክቲቪቲዎች መሪ ለመሆን በቅተናል። ይሄ በአፍሪካ ደረጃ አይደለም፣ ሰምታችኋል፣ በዓለም ደረጃ ነው። እንኳን ደስ ያለ በድጋሜ። Thank you very much. ክብራትና ክብራን አሁን ደግሞ የኢንተርፕረነርሺፕ ስነ ምህዳር ገንቢዎች ለአፍሪካ መሸጋገር ለምን ያስፈልጋሉ በሚል ርዕስ ወደሚደረገው የፓነል ውይይት ነው የምሻገረው። ስራ ባልደረቦቼ መድረኩን እስኪያዘጋጁልኝ ድረስ መጠነኛ መረጃ ነው ማስተላልፈው። Ladies and gentlemen, we now move to one of the most important conversation of this year's celebration, a discussion that lies at the heart of economic transformation and inclusive development. Across Africa, entrepreneurs flourish not by chance, but by the strength of ecosystem builders, the mentors, researchers, investors, policy shapers, community leaders, and support organizations that clear the path, open doors, and strengthen local systems. Today, our panel explores a powerful question. Why do entrepreneurship ecosystem builders matter for Africa's transformation? So to start the session, please allow me to introduce the moderator of the session, Sherry Uwase. Sherry Uwase is a marketing and communications manager at AGGP's JASIRI program, where she leads strategic communication, branding, and outreach across East Africa. With strong expertise in marketing and storytelling, she has boosted JASIRI's visibility, engaged key ecosystem partners, and supported efforts to attract and develop high-potential young entrepreneurs, driving Africa's transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Sherry Uwase to take over the stage, introduce her panelists and the topic of the discussion, and lead us to the next session of this panel discussion. Give her a warm round of welcome to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Your Excellencies, private and government institutions represented, all protocols observed, good afternoon to all of us. This is a very intimidating crowd. So you will allow me to make it a little bit easy, right? As he introduced, my name is Sherry Uwase, and I'm here all the way from Rwanda, Kigali. And it's really an honor and a pleasure to be here. Thank you. And Your Excellency, you did mention about, you insisted a few times that this is not just about Ethiopia, but about Africa as a continent. And that is why I'm here. Came all the way, not only just to attend this, but also to mention that JASIRI, which is the organization, the program under the organization that I represent, Alan and Jill Gray Philanthropies, has a program here in Ethiopia, in Kenya, and as well as in Rwanda. And so we have different ventures that work across these three countries. And so I'm really delighted to be here, especially considering that JASIRI did host the Global Entrepreneurship Week in Rwanda for the past 3 years. So it's really an honor to be here. But before I get started, I just want to see, as I mentioned, I'm the marketing and communications manager. So part of my job, again, to lighten the mood, is to make a lot of noise about our program and what we do. So by show of hands, how many have heard about Jasiri or just know about Jasiri? Can I see how many? Okay, this is a good number. This is a good number. Means that I'm doing something, right? So thank you so much for that. And so I want to just briefly explain to the rest of us who do not know what Jasiri does. Jasiri is a program, like I mentioned, under the Alan and Jill Gray Philanthropy, and that invests, guides, and supports entrepreneurs and early-stage startups in Rwanda, Ethiopia, and in Kenya. And it's one that really has high impact. We're focusing on high impact businesses across the African continent. So it's something that we are very, very proud of. And not only do we just have the Jasiri program, we also have an incoming program called Wavumbuzi, which is a youth entrepreneurship education initiative in East Africa as well, that focuses on entrepreneurial learning experience in high schools. And so this hasn't started, but it's operating in Rwanda and in Kenya with over 1,000 schools. And we're hoping that we can also bring that mandate here to Ethiopia. And now, like the MC did mention, I'm here to actually moderate a conversation. So I will get right into it. But as I do that, I would like to also introduce the panelists, the amazing panelists that we're going to have such a delightful conversation with. And in no particular order, our first panelist is Emeka Okafor, who is the Strategic Innovation and Technology Lead, Timbuktu team at the UNDP Regional Bureau for Africa. So please help me give a round of applause as we welcome him to this stage. And Emeka is an entrepreneur driving tech and industrial innovation across Africa with experience building major incubators and ecosystems and leading deep tech, AI, and advanced manufacturing hubs for UNDP's Timbuktu initiative. Thank you so much for joining us. Please do take your seat. And the next panelist is Laurence Hunziger, who is the Policy and Program Development Advisor at IOM. Please do help me welcome her to the stage as well. Laurence is a policy and program specialist with over 15 years of experience in conflict stabilization and human mobility. She designs and manages international development initiatives that support recovery and resilience. Thank you so much. Please do take your seat. And the next panelist is Dawit Tilahum, who is the country director at Inhomoko. Please do help me welcome him to the stage. Dawit Tilahum is the managing director of Inhomoko Ethiopia, bringing 20 years plus of experience in social entrepreneurship, strategy, and investment. He previously led Reach for Change Ethiopia, worked with Lucy Investment Partners and Skills Global Investments. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you're not being bored because this is actually going to be very entertaining. Yeah? All right, and our next panelist is Professor Theodore Menelik, who is the founder and CEO of Menelok Mfuni. Please do help me welcome him to this stage. And he is a sociologist, Pan-Africanist, and development strategist, advancing education, public health, and youth empowerment in Africa. He's a professor of sociology and director at ISKIN, founder CEO of Menelik Education, Central Africa representative at CAREFOR, and co-founder of INOHA. Thank you so much for joining us. And finally, the last panelist, who is Medkim Gulilat, country manager at Reach for Change. Please do help me welcome her. And Medkim is the country manager for Reach for Change Ethiopia, leading organizations, social entrepreneurship initiatives for youth and children. She drives the EdTech efforts in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation at voting for inclusive, locally led innovation in education. This is really a powerful panel. Don't you agree? And just as many of us in the room, my questions are tailored so that we can learn more about what they do from a perspective of those of us who do not know. So, I think reading bios is a bit serious, isn't it? I would like to lighten up the mood. And before I do that, I learned about something very interesting, and I hope that you can engage me in this one. Addis Ababa Konjo. There you are, okay. So I know I have people who have been sitting around me and just introducing me to the coolest language in the room, so happy to do that. And still part of the fun that I'd like us to start with, and to the panelists, I want to hear in one word, or I don't know, I know most of us use digital platforms, so we do use emojis a lot. So if you can try whether you want to use one word or whether you want to use an emoji, because our discussion today is why entrepreneurship ecosystem builders matter for Africa's transformation. And so in one word, what comes to your mind when you hear about ecosystem builder? And I will start from you, Laurence, and then we can go over there.
Driving for solutions.
Durable solutions.
Driving for solutions.
Ah, got it.
A curator of ideas and people who are working in productive capabilities. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe in one word, right?
One word.
Maybe bridges.
Or a statement.
A bridge will do.
All right, thank you.
You just said one word, so I'll just say a bridge. That's what I had in mind.
A bridge.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I would go with catalyst for growth, connection, and impact.
Great, thank you. Brilliant, brilliant. And now I'll just go to all of you again. I don't know if we do have maybe more mics to save time so we can not distribute them across. Maybe the tech team can help us with that. And as we do that, I have a question for all of you. If Africa's entrepreneurship ecosystem was a person, what stage of life would they be in? Would it be baby steps? Would it be the moody teenager? Would it be the young adult? How would you describe it, having been in this ecosystem and understanding it now from where Africa has come from and where it's going? Which stage would you put it in? And maybe we can start with the one who has the mic. Yeah.
So thank you. So that's actually a very interesting question, and it got me thinking about different layers that can cross into different life stages of the entrepreneurship, the African entrepreneurship ecosystem. But to a greater extent, I think we are a young adult. So as a young adult, I believe that we're not starting anything from scratch, or we're not an infant. We have really tested what really works, what doesn't work. We have accumulated a lot of learning. But again, as an adult, a young adult, we really see the need for supportive systems, for hand-holding, for mentorship, for guidance, which is actually very relevant for the situations that we see as in the African continent in general. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, please go ahead, yeah.
Okay. Yes, I think I'm not very far off from your analysis of the situation. I think it's definitely a young adult, because it's a continent full of energy, full of ambitions, that needs guidance, and the guidance will come from the leaders, the government and all that, in order to create the right ecosystem to enable them to move from to become creative and transformational as well in their approach to their daily life. Yes, thank you very much.
You kind of give us a very narrow choice, but I agree with them. I can go with the young adult figuring out things, but I also go back one step and maybe still a moody teenager in some extent, because they're trying to figure out a lot of stuff with the system, with the way we run things, and still figuring out. So it could be a moody teenager at some point.
Yeah, I would say that depending on the sector, the age of maturity differs. So if you were looking at fintech, you may say, for example, it's a young adult. But if you're looking at manufacturing and mining, it may be more teenagerish. So I think you find it in various stages, depending on the sector itself, because some are so much more advanced than others. So I think it's a bunch of maturation ages as opposed to just one or two. Thank you.
I think I'm bringing a new approach as well, a new angle. I represent an organization that works with migrants, vulnerable migrants, displaced people, refugees and asylum seekers, with, of course, HCR looking at the protection mandate, host communities, and having, all this in mind as a background. And to respond to your question, I think I would say that it is in a process of development. There is a lot that has already been thought through, piloted, but there is still quite a long way to go as well for those populations. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. I think I really like the answers because none of us is at toddler or baby stage. So it means we've come a long way and we still need that guidance, need that, that coaching, need that mentorship, need all these resources to get to where we are supposed to go. And I think if I could also add a little bit of that context to where I come from, Rwanda. I come from Rwanda, and seeing where we are right now and where we've come from, not so long ago, just 30 years ago, when we had the genocide against the Tutsi, and to see where we are right now building that country, I can confidently say that we're probably also at that young adult, because we have solutions, we have innovations that are working for the communities that we live in, and I hope that that's also the destination that we wish for Africa as a continent. So thank you so much for those answers. And my next question will be directed to you, Emeka. Where do you see the biggest gaps in founder capability, and how should the ecosystem builders respond to that?
Yeah, so I'll piggyback on my previous question about how different sectors are at different levels of maturity, and that sort of feeds into the gaps you find with founders. So for example, if you were looking at a more mature space like fintech, for example, or education tech, there's so much more activity in that space, there's so much more funding, it's so much more vibrant, so the challenges they face are somewhat different to perhaps someone who is in the mining tech space, where we don't have that many players. So some founders will say to you that it's finance, some would say to you it's just having those they can work with that bring various resources to bear. And once again, it follows certain sectors, because the more mature sectors, and I mean mature from an African sense, Pan-African sense, tend to have more mentors, whether it's from a corporate level, whether it's individual mentorship. They have more people who are ready to invest in them. While if you came up with an app that was speaking to financial services, you're going to have so many more people write those checks. So it's, yet again, it's not one answer, it's many different answers based on the sector, based on the country, based on the region. But that's what makes it challenging, and that's what makes it fun and interesting for us, for those of us who are looking to build and build momentum in the space. And if you are, for example, working in the creative space, where you have clusters in South Africa, and you have clusters in Nigeria, and even clusters of a sort in Morocco, what you have to contend with, because it's a somewhat more mature industry, will be very different from someone in the creative industry that's perhaps in Botswana. So it's a very sort of variegated landscape, which needs multiple forms of, multiple types of solutions. But that's what makes it challenging, and that's why I feel the more we can crowd in players who speak to these various pieces, the more we'll be able to sort of solve for those gaps. So that would be my sort of summation or answer to that question.
Yeah, thanks, Emeka, because I think what you're saying there is we really have all the solutions and we have all of these opportunities. It's just a matter of now finding those people who fit in the different innovations, in the solutions, whether it's the service providers, whether it's the different policymakers, government institutions. So I think that is really very rich to hear, because I think as Africa as a continent and as a people, we are equipped enough. It's just a matter of now, where do we find these people and how do the innovators find those who are willing to fund? So thank you so much. And my next question will be for you, Dawit. What structural challenges must be addressed to support SMEs and refugee entrepreneurs? Because I do know that part of the entrepreneurs that you also look to support or to back up also the refugee communities as well. And so what challenges must be addressed to support those kind of SMEs?
Thank you so much. So maybe giving you a little bit of background will be helpful. So we work with, in the space of refugees and host communities, currently working in 5 African countries: Ethiopia, South Sudan, Kenya, Rwanda, and recently Chad. The structural barriers kind of seem to be very similar, which needs to be kind of addressed as a barrier. But I want to focus on like maybe 3 of them. So maybe basically one of the major barriers that we see in our operations is the access to finance, basically, which is a major problem for everyone. But because accessing finance is expensive, sometimes it's predatory, and for businesses to grow, we work with micro businesses, creative ones, with a high potential to grow, but accessing finance is very tough. So you need to prove your point that this kind of target groups can actually produce solutions which are very effective. As we say at Inkomoko, we say solutions are found, problems in the continent have solutions in the continent. So basically, going to the people who actually deal with the daily problems is critical. So, but you have to prove your concept. So in order to solve their problem, the financial barrier has to be lifted. They need to access the most vital and very necessary finance to grow their business. Maybe the other thing is there's still a skills barrier. So it's not, as we see it, mostly in places like Kabribaya or Obare or Shadar, on the remote places in Kakuma and elsewhere. It's not easily accessible to get the basic business skills. So it's very important that we need to address this basic skills problem. And maybe the other one is access to market. So accessing market is because of the way we're structured, the way we're kind of placing refugees, host communities away from the bigger markets. It's very difficult, even if you have solutions, to really access that. So you need to work on the market linkages and break through barriers and kind of create a market system that helps the vulnerable groups. For us, we've worked with more than like 100,000 entrepreneurs. We've invested more than $25,000. I think we are the biggest refugee funders in the continent. And we've seen a huge deal, because if you talk about the repayment rate collectively in these 5 countries, we have like more than 96% repayment rate, which is huge. We don't find it even in the conventional structure. That's a proof of concept for us. But the financial sectors, for example, they need to come up with a product that actually works for this kind of markets. So looking at the data points, looking at the evidence that are generated, I think financial sector, the microfinances, the banks, could come up with an alternative product to actually address in Africa, we have like 50 million plus refugees, forcibly displaced people. So that's a huge market, and people with solutions very resilient. So the barriers could range from finance, market, skills, and also all the way to policies. So those are maybe the major barriers that we see.
Right, thank you so much, David. I think right there you just touched the basics of a livelihood of somebody to be able to perform at their highest. So they need the funds, they need the skills, and also they need the market. And I'm glad that we have a room full of people, because most likely I'm sure there is financial institutions represented here, and also even beyond just them looking for the products, I'm sure several financial institutions do have initiatives such as CSRs, corporate social responsibilities, and so that would be a good bridge to be able to do that. So thank you, David, for that. And now I'd like us to go to the human side of the ecosystem work. We're talking about the systems, the challenges, the gaps, but at the end of the day, it's actually human people who work behind this, who are able to give these solutions. And so this question now will be for all of us, for all of you here. And what's one underrated behind the scenes part of your work that has huge impact? Because there's so many things that people usually do, especially in your respective roles, that might not be seen to have that huge impact. So we want to go to that human element, and if you could think of one, and we could start with you coming through this way.
Sure, thank you. So as an ecosystem builder, it's very common to talk about systems. It's very common to talk about challenge, partnership, empowerment, the normal generic terms that we use. But I think the underrated factor here is we all are doing this for human beings. So factoring in human beings into all these efforts and endeavors is very critical, but it doesn't as such come out very strongly when we engage with one another. So for us, speaking from our own experience at Reach for Change, starting from our values, our organizational values, down to all the way we do our day-to-day work, it's very much human-centric. So what I'm trying to say here is, if we are dealing with our change leaders in our organization, we call entrepreneurs change leaders because that's what we believe they are truly representing. So engaging with change leaders really needs the listening heart, the empathy, the understanding of the different challenges and bottlenecks that they have to go through on a daily level. But at the same time, when we do engage with partners and like-minded ecosystem builders, we also see ourselves among that group as a human being who's trying to do better, who's trying to improve maybe the systems, who are trying to do or advocate for policy change that are needed, who are lobbying for investment and funding opportunities for change leaders. But at the end of it all, we emphasize on the human at the center. So meaning we see the relevance of collaboration over competition, and also the fact that it is very much needed to have one voice. Together we build this a theme for this event. So having one voice, one echo, instead of operating in silos.
Sorry, could you repeat your question again, please?
Yes. I actually thought about it. I was like, maybe I should refresh your memories. So the question is, what's one underrated behind-the-scenes part of your work that has huge impact?
You mean about in the ecosystem or something like that? Or
Yes,
you mean about
and bringing the human side of it.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think the emotional side side of things is very important, because often what happens is people don't decide to just become entrepreneurs. Well, some have ambitions to become entrepreneur, but also some are doing it out of circumstances as well. We have a very we said earlier, we were talking about the the youth in Africa, they are about 70% of African under the age of 30 years old. So that's a lot of people. And the government alone would not be able to provide work for all these people. So in order to break this cycle of poverty and stuff like that, it is very important that those who are taking the decision take that into account, because you're talking about the human beings. So those are often the elements that are missing when we approach something. So for example, when people go and try to set up a business, and they go to institution or government institution and stuff like that, the bureaucracy that they face sometimes becomes an hindrance and stuff like that. So it's all these things, underlying issues, that can make or break a fantastic initiative. So for me, it's these emotional things that I think we are often missing and that need to be coming back to the forefront. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not quite sure if it's underrated or something behind the scene. But the human part of the ecosystem work that we do starts from our staff, showing up every day to work with these vulnerable people in places that not a first choice for most people. So that for us is very human. It's very critical also. But I can't say it's underrated, but we work in like 5 countries. We engage with in hundreds of thousands of entrepreneurs. We have a lot of data points, something that we share with policymakers. Maybe that's not something that's publicized every time, but it shapes policies. If you take examples of Ethiopia, we have a very beautiful policy, the right to work for refugees, to be part of the bigger economy. This is something that is kind of came about with the ministry, with the work that they have with refugee return services, and some of the actual data points that organizations like in Komoko work on the ground. So actually, those things are not kind of maybe publicized or something that's not, as you said, work behind the scene, because these are things that you do, analyze, and make sure that are proper inputs for policies. So I think those are the things that we do from the human perspective, showing up for our clients every day, working with them, and working with the partners that we have, government, non-profit organizations, and local governments that work around different countries that we operate.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would say one thing is culture, because you can build the edifice, have the infrastructure, have the space, even have the money, but if you don't have this cultural glue or cultural lubricant that gets people to be curious, gets people to be innovative, gets people to sort of be freer with their thinking, those things just become white elephants. So in Timbuktu, as much as we have the infrastructure, so here in Ethiopia we have a manufacturing tech hub, and we're also involved with the AI Unipod. What you need to get these places moving is a culture that sort of supports that, a culture that propagates that. And that could be harder than you think sometimes, because if people come through educational systems that don't encourage them to ask questions, to be curious, to see a machine and use it, they're not going to actually make the most of it. So I think culture, and he spoke to emotion, are some of these hidden things that make all the difference. And that is very human. You can't just write that down and say culture X plus culture Y. It's a very visceral thing. It's something where you give people the freedom to inquire. And it's something that shouldn't be underestimated. So that would be my number one answer to that question.
Thank you. I think you can pass to Laurence. Yeah.
Thank you. I think, of course, I adhere and I concur with the human-centric aspect. That's definitely, I think, our core starting point. And then I would say the ability to be used as catalyst. And here I think I'm referring to the ability that international organizations have, as well as bilateral development partners, to bring around the table, all the stakeholders, and to bring as well along that same table those who might not ever access the table. And I think this is something that we need to continue capitalizing on, and of course working very closely with the respective authorities.
Thank you so much, Laurence, for that, and such brilliant, really responses to that. And the storyteller in me has a story for you. I hope you can allow me to say that, especially that Emeka spoke a bit about culture. So there was an innovation that was being done in one of the rural areas in India where they had a water shortage. So all the mostly women would walk miles and miles to a well to be able to wash clothes and to be able to, just some sanitization for the house. And so there was an organization that was trying to put an innovation there. And what they did is, okay, so these women, these families are walking so far away to go and be able to wash their clothes at the well or at a water body nearby. So that was the problem, and the innovation was to bring the water nearby, right? So what they did is they went ahead and they built a system for water close by the community. And guess what happened? Still, the women, the community would walk back to the well. And I think what I'm trying to say here is, which is what Emeka spoke about, is culture. Because one of the things that they missed in their market research was, as much as they walk that far, this is their opportunity to bond. And this is something that they will not give away. So they'd rather walk 5 kilometers than have the water here, because it's their opportunity to bond and to create that communal society. So to your point and to everything that's been raised, it's very important to also look at the other nitty-gritties as we approach these different solutions. And so my next question will be to you, Laurence. How does human mobility shape entrepreneurial strength?
That's a very broad question, but I think I will have multiple answers. The first one lies in the very diversity of the migration mobility in the continent. And of course, the type of migration, the types of mobility shape the individual life, shape circumstances, and shape as well, what you can learn from migration. Just to give you a bit of a background, and I would like not to miss the figures, but in the continent, that's 2020 figures, you had 40.4 million African migrants, so it's basically 3% of the population. But the majority of the African migrants reside in the continent. So you have really an estimated 20.8 basically million intra-African international migrants. And I think, when we are reflecting entrepreneurship, when we are reflecting social cohesion, integration, these figures should, talk to us. Of course, you have a continent that has as well, when we look at international migrants, a very high number of refugees and asylum seekers, and I don't want to develop because it was already addressed. But basically, specific solutions are meant to cater for those populations. You have as well internal displacement that requires durable solutions, requires skilling, requires as well access to startup kits, requires access to small entrepreneurial funding and schemes. But what I think is important as well is the flow of migrant workers, and they could be both regular, irregular. Something that we need to factor in the entrepreneurship discussions as well is that the big majority of those migrants, intracontinental labor migrants, are below 35 years of age, meaning that in their destination countries, they have as well a huge potential to contribute through innovation, through knowledge sharing. One category as well that I think is worth reflecting upon as well is the African diaspora. So the African diaspora is the big white elephant in the room, estimated 220 million, with incredible economic strength, intra-continent, with as well more and more linkages when it comes to intellectual debates and other types of cultural developments. So entrepreneurs, diaspora entrepreneurs, how do you further facilitate as well, you know, entrepreneurial initiatives, either still from foreign countries or from those that have made the decision to come back because they believe that the conditions for their return are there. Many other categories, many other profiles, the international students, intracontinental, extracontinental, bringing with them, you know, different types of thinking, different access to knowledge. How do you tap to ensure that those migrants and those who want to invest in the origin countries will remain? So to make it, maybe to conclude, because I'm taking a bit of time, you have as well all the soft mobility aspect that bring more skills, contribute to debates, duty travels, symposiums, participation to job fairs, tourism. All those mobility shape as well, reshape or contribute to shaping ideas, aspirations, as well as possible technology transfer. So with migration, I think you have all the perspectives, all the positive perspectives that come with it, but depending as well on the type of mobility, then you can have different types of landscapes, and then the human development would be very different.
Thank you so much, Laurence. I think you touched on something very important, that when we are talking about, I think it's that which you did mention about the skill force, and you're saying that we do have that an extra in the migrants or in the diaspora, who are such a big community, even across Africa, not just for Ethiopia, not just for Rwanda, not just for any other country. There's really a majority of that, 220 million. So that's I think that also is a call for the rest of us in the room, is how can we attract back this skill force back into our respective countries, because they bring a lot of resource to it. So thank you so much for that, Laurence. And now I'll come to you, Medkim. And the question is, what have you learned about supporting social entrepreneurs meaningfully? You can pass the mic along, please.
Thank you. Probably before moving into responding to that question, I just want to echo around the diasporas as a huge resource for us in Africa. Because at Reach for Change, we had first-hand experience where we were part of a program where German diasporas were supporting Ethiopian diasporas, like relatives and so on. So, but the point is, like, one way or the other, we understand that our relatives outside are supporting their family back home. But how can that be done in a more meaningful manner? And that's also what I'm thinking is can be one of the action points from this platform today, where the government can also have a very critical space to play in shaping diaspora funding to be channeled to countries in a very meaningful manner. Because instead of having it as a fragmented way of supporting families. It can actually be a very structured way of financing to entrepreneurs. So I think that's something that still needs to be capitalized, still needs to be looked at, and also from government as well as different stakeholders. There is a huge space for us to work on that space and somehow minimize the funding challenge that entrepreneurs are facing. I just want to just echo that. But specifically, our learnings in supporting social entrepreneurs is, first of all, Reach for Change supports entrepreneurs, but our focus particularly is social entrepreneurs. So here, social entrepreneurs, they have a clear motive and objective of earning, like generating profit, but their drive is actually to make sure that the problems that they see within their communities is resolved through this business. So they sort of like juggle two things. They juggle impact to the community, but at the same time building sustainable businesses. So while we engage with them, definitely there is a lot of passion from the entrepreneurs. They are very much passionate, very much energetic, but at the same time, there is a huge need from ecosystem builders to be an early risk takers, to lift them up. Here, I wanted to just mention one of the projects that we are running. I see MasterCard Foundation is also partnering here. In partnership with MasterCard Foundation, we have a project called EdTech Fellowship Project. And basically that is supporting young innovators who have innovative technological solutions to complement to the different challenges we see in country in the education sector. And definitely these young entrepreneurs, they have passion. They are really passionate. But at the same time, they also lack a lot of things that can really make them efficient and successful in running their business. One of the things is understanding how they run a business. So what would it take to run a business? Beyond the passions that I have and the solutions that I'm providing, capacity building, mentorship, linkage to market linkage are critical things. But one thing that we also see is some of the sectors that these social entrepreneurs engage in, they may not have the technical understanding of the sector. What does that mean? When you are an entrepreneur having a solution to support education, you may be very much interested in the tech part of it, but that solution is serving Ethiopian students. So is it aligned to the Ethiopian education curricular system? They may not as such have this technical understanding of what is a pedagogical understanding they need to have. So they need organizations to actually support them, bring them up to speed, up to the technical requirements and compliances that they need to adhere to. We cannot simply let these solutions be used by our children when they don't replicate the context that they are serving, when they don't align with the government policies and procedures that they are expected to follow. We have a waste management and circular enterprises project. And in that project, we see like these young innovators actually using waste and creating businesses that sort of like meet the challenge that we have in terms of waste management, but at the same time creating business and job opportunities for young. But they are not, most of the time, they are not an expert in climate-related issues on how they can actually lead a circular economy-related business. So definitely the drive is there, the passion is there, but it really needs to be matched with the capacity that they need to have to run a business. So do they know how to run an organization, how to lead it? Do they really understand financial management? Do they really know how they can brand and market their product? These kind of issues coupled with specific sector intellectual guidance is very important. And apart from that, the importance of partnership, because there is a lot of, speaking particularly, for instance, for the Ethiopian sector, there is a lot of challenges and bottlenecks when you run a business. But when you are at a very early stage of entrepreneurship and you have an idea, or maybe you're just starting a business, the overall framework treats you just like the other businesses that are there for profit. So how can we custom-made the policies, the directives, so that social entrepreneurs are enabled? How can we understand the value add from those sectors, which is not only focused on profit, but also bringing societal impact?
Great. Thank you so much for that. I think so many gems, so many questions asked there. And I'd like for us to maybe go to the next section, which I'll come to you, Professor Theodore. I think you'd like to contribute something?
Yes. I'm sorry.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, I think people have mentioned the diaspora, and I think that's a very, very important element, because one thing we forget, the diaspora actually contributes more in terms of income coming into Africa than all the aids that Africa receives from any organization combined. So the diaspora is a vital source of opportunities for Africa. And in fact, if we look at, people maybe here have forgotten because the dam is now operational in Ethiopia, but just before the dam becoming operational, Ethiopia engaged itself in asking the diaspora, because it wasn't able to get money from the IMF and things like that, engaged the diaspora to contribute, and they contributed a lot to this project. So there is a template that is already there, and it's a matter of making it accessible continental-wise, so that we can all benefit from the way Ethiopia has managed to mobilize its diaspora to generate income for this project. So it's a very, very important thing that I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And now that we have already touched on some of the changes, I'd like for us to do that, and then we'll get into some questions from the audience, because we can't just interact from one side of the room. We want to also open it up. But before we come to that, and this is something that Her Excellency referenced in her speech about sports entrepreneurship, and this is just an example of one of the changes that is very relevant and key. And then going back to the social entrepreneurship you spoke about, the skill force, the 70% of the youth, which is the Africa's population. So I would want us to just quickly, and I think we'll have you, Professor Theodore, just to answer that. But before you do that, I can maybe just share a little bit of how I feel like that is helping us as a country in Rwanda. And obviously, I'll keep on referencing my country because, one, you need to visit Rwanda if you haven't, but also because we've actually built solutions that are really working. And so some of them, especially right now, is within the sports industry, sports entrepreneurship. So I think you may or may not have heard about a couple of stadiums that have come up, but even something as small as a walking track around the city. And so what that does is it creates innovations. You find people who are starting innovations like, can we come up with a solution where people can rent bikes as they're coming to work out? Can we come up with different sort of solutions that could work? So I would like for you, Professor Theodore, I know you have a background as well with the young people, and so that being one of our really strongest forces that we have is the young people, the 70% of the youth. And so what role should universities play in strengthening Africa's ecosystem?
Okay, well, that's a question that is very dear to my heart, but also, so I'll give you a very long-winded answer, and I'll start by giving you some examples. I worked a lot. I used to be based in Cambridge in the UK, and as a student, and then as a lecturer as well. And one thing that I did when I set up my, when I was a student, I remember, one thing that I've noticed is that the youth, it doesn't even start from university, even from college, secondary school, sometimes even primary. They are encouraged to travel around Europe and sometimes even beyond. And that's not just because they want to go and visit and things like that. It's so that they can go and gain some knowledge that they will bring back home and help develop projects. A lot of the projects that we see in Europe, the origin is not Europe as such. It often comes from countries such, from continents such as the African continent. So what I used to do, I used to bring a lot of young people, whether from university or others, to Africa. And every time they went back they came back to Cambridge, they set up systems that enabled them to create new businesses, new enterprises. They started small, but today some of them are very big. I cannot give you names like this, but there are a lot of companies that you see now around the world that are quite big, that have started at the university stage, at that level. And the reason why it has started at that level is because there is a culture. We were talking about culture earlier on. There is a culture that is present in usually. I'll talk about the UK because I know the UK, but I know most Western countries have that culture, where they encourage young people to develop their skills, but also to be able to put their ideas on the table, and they can be discussed. And maybe some of those ideas will find a listening ears and transform into something that can potentially generate income. Because the idea is to create a system. The system that they've put in place is enables people to be innovative. And unfortunately, most African universities, not all, but most of them, producing graduates, but they're not producing innovators. And that's one of our biggest challenge. And I think Her Excellency talked about TVET and how to bring entrepreneurial skills within the education system. And this is where university also can be playing a vital role in Africa. But for that to happen, especially state, well, in general, university in general, I think for example, Cambridge University, people might think Cambridge, Oxford, and things like that. People often think of them as private university. They're not private university. They're government, they're state universities. But the government does not interfere in the development of the university. The government provides the funding and provides things like that, but the skills are grown and developed within the institute themselves because they know better how this is. I'm not saying the government doesn't know, but what I'm saying is when you have too much interference, it prevents an institution or people from becoming creative. It's a bit, imagine a child that is always, if you allow a child to run around the room, to do a lot of things, he will become creative. But if you always put barriers before the child, then he will stop becoming creative. So universities, institutions, colleges and stuff like that, yes, they have to be guided, of course. There have to be rules and things like that, but also they have to be enabled to have some degree of independence. And that degree of independence is the degree of the independence that creates opportunities within a country. I looked at 5 points. I wrote 5 points that I think university and schools in general should take into account. That we should shift from just teaching, but to be knowledge consumers, we are at the moment universities and institutions in Africa are knowledge consumers. So we have to move from knowledge consumers to knowledge producers. And in order to do that, we have to create the ecosystem that we're talking about earlier on. The other one thing as well is in Cambridge at the moment, my office, for example, in Cambridge is based in one of the research centers. The research center was built by the university. So we have to encourage university to create hubs, research centers and stuff like that, because those are the areas where people with creativity mind or something like that will gather together, and together they work to bring solutions to specific problems and things like that. And there has to be engagement as well between the government and the university to encourage exactly this shift of culture. The other thing as well is the university should be open to the communities. It's not everybody that will become a graduate or is a graduate, but you have, I've worked a lot, you talked about me working in the community with the youth, but I also worked with women empowerment projects. And some women in Africa, a lot of them in Africa actually, have, through the system that exists within the continent, have not been able to finish or continue with their studies, and often they don't have degrees and things like that. So the university should be able to welcome those people as well, so that they can gain skills that would enable them to break the cycle that they're in. The other thing as well is we should start introducing entrepreneurship mindset at a very, very early stage. In the UK now, in primary school, they're starting to doing that. In fact, they even started teaching children to do coding and things like that. It's not by sheer accident. It's because there is an agenda at the end of all these kind of exercises. So, in short, yes, universities in Africa, a lot of them are producing graduates, but they're not producing innovators. And in order to move from this end to the other, they need a lot of support from those who are making the decisions for us. This is my experience within the continent. And talking of which, sorry, we've decided, and I'll finish here, in order to address some of, address some of these issues, challenges, we recently signed an MOU. I mean, when I say we, is the Institute of Statistics in Kinshasa, recently signed an MOU with EDI. With the purpose is to create an EDI in other parts of Africa, because what EDI is doing actually in Ethiopia is quite formidable, and we want to be tapping into that as well, because I think there are a lot of potentials across Africa, and if we are able to share and exchange those knowledges among ourselves, I think we could go. Africa could go quite far, and I'll finish there. Thank you.
Thank you so much for so many gems shared. I think if we were to hear all the beautiful ideas we have, we would be here for a while, for a minute. But I think I'd like to just echo some of the things that you said. You know, universities being able to really produce people who have those practical skills, and the schools introducing those entrepreneurship programs. The good news is actually part of what we're doing as Jasiri, and the program that I did mention that is going to be introduced is called Wavumbuzi, which is there to introduce those entrepreneurship skills and competencies from the root ground, from young children in primary school, because things have changed right now. Things have changed. The education system is not as it used to be back in the day. I have a 7-year-old who, while you're talking about coding, that is one of the extra classes that he takes. He's taking coding as well, among other skills that they're learning in this day and age. So I think it's very key that we start having those conversations. Unfortunately, because of time, we won't be able to do the Q&A to interact with everyone, but I think you've met all these brilliant minds here. And as for myself, I'm only here for a week, for this week, but I do have my wonderful colleague, Brooke. Maybe Brooke, you could just stand up and maybe, or raise your hand. Raise your hand. And Brooke is our country director here for Jasiri in Ethiopia. And so I'm hoping that we could have some time, maybe even after, to interact, and you can approach each one of the panelists and anyone in the room and just get to know what they do, and let's create solutions for Africa and those innovations for an African continent, for the African communities that we live in. Thank you so much, panelists, and thank you, MC. Back to you.
Another round of applause to Sherry Uwasi, who has greatly moderated this wonderful session. Thank you so very much, everyone, for giving us this dynamic conversation where the youth will take a whole lot from, as you have shown us the great way and the path and the roadmap in how to further develop and push forward the momentum of Ethiopia's entrepreneurship landscape as we celebrate the 2025 GEW opening ceremony here in Addis Ababa. Before I transit to the final phase of this opening ceremony, please allow me to recognize some of our sponsors for their generous support in our effort to organize this event. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause to MasterCard Foundation. Thank you very much, MasterCard Foundation. Also, GIZ, CBE, Commercial Bank of Ethiopia, SNB, Jasiri, Gada Bank, and Reach for Change. Together, one big round of applause, please. Thank you so very much for that generous support in our effort to make this event a remarkable event. So, before we transit into the next one, I would like to call to the stage Her Excellency, Madam Minister, and the Excellency State Ministers, and all our distinguished guests here in the high table to come forward to the stage and have a family photo or a group photo. Please come forward to remember this wonderful event where Ethiopia, for the first time, has been mentioned as the top of the lead board of the Global Entrepreneurship Week activities as we celebrate this wonderful event today. So, a group photo. Please, high-level guests, distinguished guests, you can join us for a group photo to remember this wonderful event. Your Excellency, Dr. Hassan, run up. Thank you. So the rest of us, can we give them a big round of applause? These people are the shakers and movers and the Ethiopian entrepreneurship landscape, including government commitment, also the private sector, our partners, international partners included here. Thank you so very much for this wonderful collaboration. Thank you so very much. Okay, once again, thank you so very much. Congratulations to the co-organizers, Federal Ministry of Labor and Skills, the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, and the Entrepreneurship Development Institute for this grand gathering coming together to celebrate the opening ceremony of the Global Entrepreneurship Week 2025, proudly hosted by the two institutions and with the support of those generous partners and sponsors. We celebrate such milestones as has been said today, as Ethiopia being at the top of the leaderboard of the Global Entrepreneurship Week activities. And why this matters is that global recognition of Ethiopia's entrepreneurial momentum will be created. Validation of government and ecosystem efforts will be achieved. A new narrative for Ethiopia is another opportunity that this creates, and also momentum for investors, donors, and partners, and that's another benefit that we can gain from here. And inspiration for youth and emerging founders. That is an absolute benefit that we can garner from being the top in this landscape. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I will now move on to introducing the next event, which will be moderated not by me, but I will duly introduce the person who will be moderating it. It's called ASEB Award for the Africa Startup Ecosystem Builders Society Award, which is a Pan-African network of networks utilizing ecosystem builders, ecosystem builders, entrepreneurs, policymakers, and organizations dedicated to advancing inclusive and resilient startup ecosystems across the continent. Now, taking over the stage from me, up next will be a wonderful woman known as Nomalanga Sithole from South Africa, whose profile shows that she's one of Africa's finest storytellers and communicator extraordinaire, and that she is a rare combination of entrepreneur, inspirational speaker, facilitator, MC, program director, or propeller, voiceover artist, author, and TV presenter for over 20 years. Broadcasting, and 15 years event management and marketing leadership experience. A multi-award-winning expert facilitator with an exceptional work ethic, Nomalanga is able to bring dynamic energy, enthusiasm, and capture hearts and engage minds to any event that she hosts. As a change agent with an entrepreneurial spirit and a global perspective, she has carved out a corporate reputation as one of the best business-to-business facilitators. Nomalanga has received several awards and accolades for her work, including the ZAA Female Entrepreneur of the Year Award 2015, finalist for Margaret Hirsch Women in Business 2017-18, and finalist and second runner-up for Standard Bank Top Women Entrepreneur of the Year 2021, just to mention a few. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be stopping here, duly calling to the stage with great honor our next moderator of this ASEB Awards, Nomalanga Sithole. Give her a big round of welcome to the stage. Nomalanga, so good to see you here. The stage is for you to shine for the next moments.
Thank you so much. I'm Siganalu. That's right. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we do it very differently where I come from. Thank you to my MC. As he said, my name is Nomalanga. Intombe Balamalanga. Isizugulwane Sagostole. We are coming here from South Africa, from Namibia, from Kenya, from Botswana. Hey! Ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. To my ministers, please can I have you stand up? Please can I have you stand up? This is how we do ASEB Award. Hey! Can I have all the camera people ready? Right, can I start from that side? This is how we do it. Let's go. Yeah? Yeah? I see my artist doing the thing. I come this side. Yeah? Yeah, I see you, sir. Come on. My sister, we were there together yesterday. Come on. Yeah? 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 Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You may take your seats.
እናመሰግናለን። ክቡራትና ክቡራን እባካችሁ ቁጭ በሉልን። ኢቨንቱ ገና አላለቀም። በጣም ከለርፉል ኢቨንት ነው አሁን ያለን። እሱን አቴንድ አድርገን ኔትወርኪንግ ሪሴፕሽን ስላለ ኮክቴል ሪሴፕሽን አትሂዱብን ተብሏል። ችል ለማለት ነው። Sorry, I intervened, so I want to keep people here from going.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So ladies and gentlemen, salam, bonsoir, sanbonani, Dumelang Molweni. I'm trying all the languages as much as I can. It is a very good evening, and it is an honor to be here in Addis Ababa. It is our first time here as ASEB, and we just want to say, Amesiganalo, you've kept us well, you've taken care of us. It is our 4th annual ASEB Awards. We started the journey in Johannesburg, we went to Kenya, we went to Ghana, and now we are here in the beautiful Addis Ababa. So, without wasting much time, #TogetherWeBuild is what we are here about this time of the year. And I want to say thank you to our sponsors. We will thank them individually and their partners, but really for understanding the vision of who ASEB is. Understanding, collaborating, we would not be here without you. The local organizing committee here, headed up by Adisu and Cal. Thank you guys. I know it's been a journey, but thank you very much. To our CEO, McKevin Ayaba, unfortunately he couldn't travel from South Africa, but we are representing him here as his team. He's probably watching online. I want to say, boss, we've crossed the line. Your vision and resilience is tangible. This young man will never say no, won't answer to a no. We will push until the end of it. To the team members that are here in the room, she will come and introduce who we are as ASEB. Can you please give a round of applause for Celine Joe? She's the head of stakeholder engagements and communications all the way from Cameroon. Thank you, Sally. We have had endless nights, but we are here. To those that are watching that didn't make us, Lungile Maile, Head of Operations and Programs, and Stacy Menga, Chief of Global Partnership and Resource Mobilization. In your absence, we hope we are honoring you and the vision. We know that as African entrepreneurship, the landscape, specifically to us as startups, it is said that the economy is projected to reach $3 trillion by 2030 if the growth trajectory goes as it does. So every entrepreneur in this room, startup, middle, growth, we are doing the right things. And so as we honor the finalists that have traveled from far and wide in Africa, let's continue to do what we do best. Solving our African challenges, and where we collaborate with global ecosystems, ladies and gentlemen, can we learn, can we grow, can we glean on what they are doing, but most importantly, can we make sure we add our own African flavor? Whether it's Ethiopia, South Africa, Botswana, whatever. Take the international, the global, but let's make sure we localize it. And so as our President Jonathan Ortman mentioned, I had the opportunity to meet him in Saudi Arabia last year at Biban 2024. The world needs more entrepreneurs. Again, #TogetherWeBuild. So I want to hand over to Sally. Sally will come through and tell us who we are as ASEB, and she will invite one of our board members here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to Sally and Joe.
Thank you so much, Nomalanga, for setting the tune for this event. I would like to say a big thank you to the Ethiopian ecosystem. All dignitaries, I'm honored. Salam. My name is Salita Benjo. I'm coming all the way from Cameroon, and it's such an honor to be standing here today representing the Africa Startup Ecosystem Builder team. Unfortunately, founder and convener McKevin couldn't be here, but it's teaching us an important message. Ecosystem building, it's not about one person. It's about all of us seated here. So look around you. What do you see? Human capital, finance. You see policy makers. You see the market. Ecosystem building, it's all of us. It's been quite an amazing journey. It started all the way from South Africa. We've gone to Kenya, Ghana, and we're currently in the Ethiopian ecosystem. Woo! So we are talking 2,600 plus nominations spanning across 52 African countries, narrowing down to 35 categories of creative innovators from across Africa, and 5 finalists per categories. So I want to say to our nominees and our winners here tonight, please celebrate because you've earned the bragging rights. And this recognition doesn't mean stop. The recognition means get involved more in the ecosystem and let's make this work. To our founder and convener, Kevin Ayaba, thank you for creating an enabling space where we can all strive. And to our team, we have Lungile, Stacy, Hilton, Mary Kay, and Ian, our advisory boards. We have Adisu, Nebiu. I just want to say I see a lot of passion, dedication, and thank you for running this vision with us. So without further ado, before we go into the big night, I would like to call on Ian, our advisory board, to please join me on stage while we open ASEP 2025 Awards. Ian, you've made a lot of sacrifices for the ecosystem. You've been there since day one, and I believe this is for you. Congratulations on being an ecosystem builder.
So I hope you're all ready to celebrate, because that's really what this is. And I think it's not, I think it's more commitment and passion. It's not sacrifice. I think those of us who work with entrepreneurs, we don't think of this as sacrifice. We think of this as a contribution and a giving, and really trying to move things forward, which is also. So this is to really celebrate that commitment and passion that we see across. And also to celebrate a lot of the unsung heroes that we see very often, because the celebrations often comes to the entrepreneurs, and they should be celebrated. But there is an engine, an infrastructure behind the entrepreneurs and their success, which often is not coming and getting the shine and a little bit of attention. So this is what the ASEP Awards is all about, is making sure that that part of the equation also has a bit of shine.
Okay, to the Global Entrepreneurship Week, Marriott in Tech, thank you all to our sponsors and supporters for taking a leap of faith with us. So Nomalanga, please, can you come on? Let's get this rolling.
Let's get this rolling. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce the delegation all the way from Mayotte. I asked them yesterday when we met them, where is Mayotte? They were said in between France and in between Mozambique. I'm like, I've been to Mozambique, so now we must just cross the border, right? So I'd like to introduce Miss Zamimo Ahamadi. She wants to share her Mayotte experience with ASEP. And once we are done, we'll get into 2 other conversations of who we are. Trust me, the awards will go by very quickly because there are not too many. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Mayotte, bonsoir.
Ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. We spend a 2-day rich in sharing experiences and encounters. We are very delighted. I am Zamimou Ahmadi, the Vice President of Mayotte Consular in charge of finance, European affairs, and digital technology. Mayotte is a French island located between the west coast of Madagascar and the east coast of Africa. Mayotte is also an outermost region of European Union. The position of Mayotte makes it a natural bridge between Europe and Africa. We are here thanks to the collaborative work initiated by Mayotte Intech. We are accompanied by our brilliant startup funded to showcase their expertise and to connect with the Africa startup ecosystem build. Because I think that we share many similar challenges together. Young population, job creation, climate resilience, and digital transition. We can address these challenges by working together. As a European territory, Mayotte has direct access to European Union funds and programs such as Interreg and FEDER. The financial instrument can be used to support our region project and connect us. This event, ASEB, perfectly embodies this spirit. That is why we are very delighted to be part of this ASEB ecosystem. A big thank to the organizer of this event. A big thank for Addis Ababa for its warm welcome. Thank you for your attention. Asante sana.
Asante sana, Mama Karibu. So, we don't want you to leave now. Can I just ask Sally that you go to this side, right? They're going to give you something. We want to give them an award. So we are starting. These are our special awards. And this award is Mayotte Intech International Collaboration Partner, Mayotte and Africa, ASEB 2025. Yeah, this is how we do it in Africa. Thank you so much. Asante san. Right, as I move swiftly along, please can I ask a gentleman, I met him yesterday as well. His name is Dr. Pilasande Sokela, PhD. He is the head of Center for African Business Lead in Johannesburg Business School. Sir, if you could come through and give us your remarks. Thank you very much. Yeah, this is how we do it in Addis. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much, Nomalanga. Ladies and gentlemen, protocol has already been observed. Good afternoon, good evening, rather. My name is Pilasande Tlaganipo Sokela, all the way from Johannesburg, South Africa, from a University of Johannesburg's recently established business school called the Johannesburg Business School. So I don't want to go through a long speech, colleagues. It's a very exciting evening. There's a lot that's yet to come. So basically, we are one of the youngest business schools in South Africa, the Johannesburg Business School, established in 2019 under the leadership of Professor Lyle White. So like ASEB, or the ASEB Society, we are strongly focused on Pan-Africanism. We are one of the very few universities that is strongly focused on Fourth Industrial Revolution with a particular lens of digital transformation. So I'm here today to congratulate some of the winners that will be announced later on, but also to celebrate. I mean, I met McKevin back in 2017 while I was still a faculty teaching entrepreneurship, third year module. We shared the same vision around how do we build a connected Africa? How do we connect startups all over Africa? It's a very ambitious goal, but I think through such events, we're able to achieve that. So I'm here looking for partners as well, so I'll be sitting right there at the back. If you want to connect, please do so. I'm not a very scary person. I'm a nice guy. So yeah, I think let's enjoy, and please do connect with me. I've recently, this morning, I've just joined now, so I was busy with signing off an agreement with AfriLabs. So AfriLabs has over 400 innovative hubs all over Africa, 52, 53 African countries. So one of the ways in which we partner with industry is through these collaborations. So if you're willing to have a conversation, please do so. Thank you so much.
Siyabonga, Dokotela. Thank you, Nkosi. Thank you very much. So, like I said, I love what he said. He's like, please connect and collaborate. It's no longer about networking. It's about how do we connect. When I walk out of this room, I must have 4 or 5 business cards, 4 or 5 numbers. Who am I talking to? And what are we doing around the ecosystem that needs us desperately as African entrepreneurs? So I'd like to welcome onto stage Medkim Gulilat. He is the country manager for Reach for Change, as he sets the tone of the celebration that we're about to get into, and importantly, the relevance of a continental collaboration for social entrepreneurships. Welcome, good evening. Please give her a...
Thank you so much. And it's a she, as you can see. እንዴት ናችሁ? እንዴት አመሻችሁ? እግዚአብሔር ይመስገን. Good evening and welcome everyone. Distinguished government representatives, ASAP society leadership, distinguished representatives from academia, partners from the private sector and development community, my fellow ecosystem builders, innovators, founders, and change leaders, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Thank you. Good evening once again, and thank you so much for being here today in this very special celebration of the work done by ecosystem builders. It is also truly a privilege and an honor truly to speak in front of Dr. Leni and President of Addis Ababa University, representing Reach for Change Ethiopia, and at the same time representing the voices of Ethiopian entrepreneurs, ecosystem builders. At Reach for Change, we believe strongly on one simple idea. When entrepreneurs are supported by a strong ecosystem, they do far more than build businesses. They change lives. They improve outcome for their communities. And they help shape a future that is more inclusive and more helpful for all of us. Since 2015, our work in Ethiopia has focused on closing the support gap that social entrepreneurs face. That is through offering capacity building, long-term coaching, access to networking, and funding opportunities, as well as nurturing an environment that allows early stage and growth stage innovators to grow with confidence. And as we know, this journey is not easy. And today is actually the right moment to recognize the resilience and the strengths it takes to keep building through difficult and uncertain moments. Ecosystem builders across Africa work through limited resources, policy gaps, coordination challenges, and many more hurdles that most people never see. Yet, they keep going. They keep building, and they keep pushing boundaries so that entrepreneurs can thrive. Their achievements carry the weight of many obstacles past and many moments of persistence. Tonight, we honor that courage. I also want to celebrate the entrepreneurs themselves, the dreamers, the doers, who are solving real problems in education, unemployment, waste management, climate resilience, digital inclusion, and overall community uplift. They remind us of a truth we should celebrate. Africa youth are creating African solutions for African challenges. This is the spirit of social entrepreneurship, when impact shines through in the problem solves and the hope that is created. But if we want our impact to grow, our collaboration must also grow. I want to share a vision that speaks to the heart of our work at Reach for Change and to the spirit of every ecosystem builder in this room. I see African builders working side by side across borders, learning from one another, lifting one another, and opening new pathways for innovations to grow. I see stronger networks and support systems that make it easier for young innovators to rise. This is the Africa we believe in, an Africa where the environment around a founder is just as strong as the founder. I also see a future where our collective efforts helps remove the bigger barriers that hold African entrepreneurs back. A future where moving ideas and solutions across the continent become easier, where unnecessary trade barriers fall, where collaboration is stronger, and ecosystems become truly connected. When African builders work together, we give our young problem solvers the freedom and the confidence to turn local solutions into continental impact. I have a vision of Ethiopian social entrepreneurs opening offices in Johannesburg, Cape Town, and Durban. I have a vision of Ethiopian entrepreneurs expanding to Kigali and beyond. I see Rwandan entrepreneurs establishing offices in Addis Ababa. I see Ghanaians and Nigerian entrepreneurs collaborating with Ethiopian hubs. I see startups from Nairobi, Dar es Salaam, Accra, and Kigali cross-learning, co-building, and co-scaling. This is the Africa we should be building. Not 55 separate ecosystems, but one interconnected continent of innovators moving together and building a shared future. To get there, we must deepen continental collaboration, connecting ecosystems intentionally, aligning financial models, facilitating cross-border learning, and opening doors for founders who want to scale across Africa. Because our challenges are shared and our opportunities are shared too. This evening, award recipients and nominees demonstrate the real potential that exists within our ecosystem when innovators are given a room to grow. You are the reason children have more opportunities, communities have more tools, and our continent has more reason to believe in its potential. You are building hope. To the ecosystem builders, thank you for holding the system together. To the entrepreneurs, thank you for daring to solve our hardest problems. And to our partners, thank you for believing in the work that we do. And to everyone in this room, let us live tonight with a renewed commitment to build ecosystems that help entrepreneurs thrive and scale across Africa. Together, we can unlock the full power of purpose-driven innovation across our continent. It is doable. Thank you so much. መልካም ምሽት.
Thank you so much. So can I ask you just to stand right, don't move, just stand there. Just stand there. Thank you. Standing, I like that. Right, so we're going to go into special honors before we go into the different blocks of awards. And I'd like to introduce and call up to the stage as they will be assisting with giving out the awards. We're going to start with our special awards. Please can I ask Dr. Hussein from EDI to come onto stage. Thank you. As he comes up, please give him a round of applause. So how we're going to do the awards as we do them, they will come up, those that are handing them over. Sally will be receiving them from the team, and then after that we stand, we do photos. They have 1 minute. Each of the winners in all the categories have exactly 1 minute to say what they want to say, and then we move on. So I'm going to start, and the reason why I said stand right here is because the first special award goes to none other than Reach for Change. And if we could please have the award. Thank you very much. Yeah, Megdim Gulilat, Country Manager for Reach for Change. Thank you so much and congratulations. That is a special award, special recognition for the work that you do. We want to give you a minute. Do you want to say a minute to say something?
I believe I said what I had to say, but thank you. And recognitions do motivate, do encourage, so keep them coming.
Thank you very much, Reach for Change. And I love the fact that she says, entrepreneurs, we need to grow. We need to grow wherever we are in the continent. Our second special award, Dr. Hussein, that you're going to be handing out to, please welcome all the way E for Impact Foundation. Please welcome Kalkidan Shashigo, Country Manager, to come and receive the award. Aish! This man, as part of the organizing committee, have been working so hard. I think he's going to have some gray hairs after today. Kalkidan, can I see your teeth, please? Smart, yeah! That's exactly what I'm talking about. If you could give us your 1 minute, please.
Thank you, Asab. On the behalf of E4 Impact Foundation, our foundation activates different 24 African countries on different impact entrepreneurship program. Thank you for your recognition. Thank you for ASAB Ecosystem Builders Award. Thank you.
Right. Dr. Hussein, we have got an incredible award that you will be giving away. And this is the Lifetime Achievement Award. Someone that's been walking an incredible journey doing what they do. Please, if you could give it to Sally. If I could ask our Lifetime Achievement Award recipient, Honorary Dr. Eleni Gabrimadin, Innovation and Entrepreneurship in Africa. Ay! Thank you, Mama. That is such a gorgeous award. If you could please receive it. Thank you so, so much. Yeah. Oh, I like that smile. She says, I've done it. I've been working for it. So what I would like to do, as per my instruction from our CEO, Dr. Hussein, thank you very much. You can exit our stage. And to all those ministers perhaps that need to leave, we want to say thank you. And I want to hand it over for 10 minutes to our Lifetime Achiever Award, because wow, this does not happen overnight. She has been working behind the scenes to be able to get this. So I want to hand over, maybe give your certificate to Sally, and you come and do what you've asked to do.
Asante sana. Good evening, Excellencies, delegates, and friends. Thank you to the African Startup Ecosystem Builders. Thank you to the Ethiopian Entrepreneurship Development Institute. So many of you friends here with whom I've worked over the years. My heart is so full of gratitude for this wonderful recognition. Before I even go any further, I would like to congratulate Ethiopia and Her Excellency Minister Mufariat for the huge strides that we see in the Ethiopian startup ecosystem. We have come a very long way, and I don't have time tonight to tell you just where we started, but there are some stories there too. That said, when ASEB's CEO, McKevin Ayaba, called me, where I live now in Washington, I would say 3 or 4 months ago, around August, with the news of this award, my first thought was, lifetime? Lifetime achievement? Am I that old? I still have a lot to do, people. So on a serious note, as I reflect back on this life that I've had, I'm so grateful for this incredible journey that has been at least 3 or 4 lifetimes worth of challenges, triumphs, friendships, pain, joy, and so much love. I have lived and I am still living in the world of ideas and witnessed the power of ideas, of innovation. And what an incredible ride it's been. When I was 15 years old, living in Rwanda, who is my sister from Rwanda? There you are. I am also Rwandan. And Magdam's dream was already happening back then. So my family was in exile. The Ethiopian revolution had erupted a few years before. So I was exposed to really what it is to be an African because I was able to see so much outside of Ethiopia at that early age. And so at the age of 15, I wrote down my 10-year life plan. And there were 3 things. I was going to get a PhD in agricultural economics. Not sure why, but that was my dream. I was going to write a book, and I wanted to be one of Africa's thinkers and doers who would end poverty in Africa. So I'm happy to say that I have fully accomplished 2 of those goals, but I'm still working on, as with all of you, on this lifelong goal of ending poverty in Africa. I'm grateful for my family, first and foremost, my beloved parents for instilling in me this powerful love of Ethiopia and the importance of standing on the truth. I am grateful to my wonderful sons, Yared, who's here, and his brother Zega and Net, who are the joy of my life. I am grateful for the hundreds, if not thousands, of people along this journey who have supported, inspired, challenged, partnered, or loved me, without whom all of this would not be possible. I'm grateful for my country, Ethiopia, for bringing me home after living 30 years abroad and giving me the chance to do something so bold, so risky, a bit crazy, and seemingly impossible. But we did it. And finally, I'm grateful to God, who saw fit to give me so many opportunities and who was faithful to me every step of the way. As we celebrate and recognize entrepreneurship tonight and throughout the rest of this Global Entrepreneurship Week, I want to say that I truly believe that entrepreneurs are a special breed, a special profile of humans who see what others don't, who risk everything, who believe almost foolishly, who risk almost recklessly, who give up everything they have to fight until their last breath for something they believe in. And entrepreneurship is not for everyone. And those of you in this room, you know who you are. So I celebrate you. In my view, and there was a question earlier about where is Africa on the steps of our maturity. In my view, Africa's startup ecosystem is in its baby steps. We are in our infancy, and when we compare our 8 unicorns on the continent, compared to 122 in India alone, or over 1,000 in the US, we have, because I'm an eternal optimist, I think we have a long way to go, but a really exciting journey ahead. So I am proud of where we're going. I'm proud of all the things that we see on the continent. And when I left Ethiopia 4 years ago to found Timbuktu, the Pan-African innovation ecosystem, which was very much conceived on the ideas that Magdam spoke about earlier. In fact, she could have written my speech of how to build this Pan-African vision for entrepreneurship and innovation. You know, I see so much happening and so much excitement and growth. So the future for Africa is bright. For those entrepreneurs here, I salute and encourage you because you are Ethiopia's hope. You are the hope beyond Ethiopia of Africa. Keep dreaming, keep fighting, keep believing. Fail and fail again, and get back up, learn, and keep on going. Get the support you need from whoever you can and however you need it, because nothing should stop you. Nothing is more important, and Africa is counting on you. God bless you. God bless Ethiopia and Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Can we have a quick picture as special awards? So can I ask you to come back up with your award, and let's take a quick special awards, and that is for Reach for Change as well as E for Impact Foundation. And she comes up, please give them a round of applause. Thank you very much, my special recognition. Yeah, please give us your most amazing smiles. Colgate, Aquafresh, whatever Colgate you use for your teeth. That's the smile I want to see. Yeah! Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Another round of applause as they come off the stage. Thank you. Thank you very much. Right, so the next set of awards are probably going to go very, very quickly. Please, can I ask the first block of award? Who is going to help me? Please welcome Ms. Zamimo Ahmadi, Vice President of the Departmental Council of Mayotte, responsible for digital affairs. I know she'll be dashing soon. So you're coming to do this first set. So as we mentioned, very many entrepreneurs. We had our finalists, we had our short listings and everything. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to give it up for Startup Financing Initiative of the Year. Please give it up for Kazana Group Ethiopia. Our representative, sir, thank you. I love that smile. It warms my heart. Please go and grab your awards, take a picture, and give us your 1 minute. Thank you very much. So I'll give you the microphone. You give us your 1 minute, sir.
Thank you so much. I'm truly honored to be here. Of course, it's always a very beautiful thing to get a recognition like this. We've been investing in companies in Ethiopia for over 20 years already, and we are continuing to do this in the coming years. As of January, we're starting a new round on agricultural and financial startups here in Ethiopia, where we support them in the incubation process, and we also fund them if we really believe in them. So if you feel like supporting us in the process, if you're a founder and you're looking for support, if you're a stakeholder in the ecosystem, feel free to reach out. Kazana Group, find us on our website or LinkedIn. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And thank you very much, Ms. Zamimo. I hope you have an incredible flight as you need to leave. Thank you very much. All right, please give her a round of applause. Asante Sana. For the second block of awards, please may I ask to join us on stage Dr. Samuel Kifle, President, Addis Ababa University. All protocol observed. Yesterday, we had the opportunity after our summit, which we've been running from Friday and Saturday. We went into the Creative Hub ecosystem, and what a mixer it was. And so we are going to present right now the Incubator of the Year. Can I hear some drum rolls on tables, please? Please give it up for Ice Addis Ethiopia! Thank you very much. I'm looking at him. He's turned completely red. Completely red. He's like, oh my gosh, did we win? Please go up and receive your award. So I'm not sure between the lady and the gent who will give the 1 minute. Is it you? Thank you, ma'am.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for the award. I just want 30 seconds, not a minute. This award is for African startups at early stage of the journey. ICE stands for innovation, collaboration, and entrepreneurship, the pillar of the unity and drive us forward. We wouldn't be here today without the power of collaboration. Thank you all to everyone who knocked on our doors, and to everyone who opened theirs when we asked. Your support has shaped our path and strengthened our mission. And thank you again for having this award.
Thank you so much. Please keep growing and showing the rest of the incubators how it's done. Our second award presented by Dr. Samuel Kifle, and that is Angel Investor of the Year. Can I see hands? Who's an angel investor in the house? Who's an angel investor? They're like, yes, sure, not sure. And the winner is, please give it up for Henok Asifa, right here once again in Ethiopia. Is our representative here, please? Are they here? They're not here. Okay, Adisu, if we can just maybe come and collect it on their behalf, so we can move on to the next one. Thank you, sir. And that was for the Angel Investor of the Year. Just stand there, smile. Can we have your teeth, please, Adisu? I know it's been a long week. Adisu, I'm not seeing a smile. Thank you very much. Dr. Samuel, thank you very much. Right, I told you we're going to be moving very, very quickly. Our next award is a Youth Startup Ecosystem Builder Champion of the Year. Dr. Pila Sunday, if you can join me on stage, please run, Forrest, run. And as he comes up, my heart is full. Getting to Ethiopia was not easy, but we are here, and so thank you for having us. And the Youth Startup Ecosystem Builder Champion of the Year, ladies and gentlemen, from another African country, please give it up for Abigail Epongse Mbaambatu, all the way from Cameroon. I like that. She says, home. Yes, ma'am. My darling, please smile, oh, smile, oh. You've just won an award. Thank you very much. I know this is on behalf of, yes, Nancy? It's on behalf of, right? Thank you very much. I know Abigail is not here. Do you want to say something, a minute for her? On behalf of course, on behalf of Cameroon, she will take the opportunity. Thank you, Nancy.
Good evening to everyone. I am not Abigail, I'm representing her. And on behalf of Abigail, I'm deeply honored to receive this award from ACEP Ecosystem Builders. Abigail is a committed health activist whose work continues to inspire communities and save lives. Though she couldn't make it, though she couldn't be here, but today her passion and resilience and dedication to improving health and empowering people remain unwavering. She extends her heartfelt gratitude to ACEP for this recognition and to everyone who has supported her mission. Thank you for celebrating her impact and believing in the power of health advocate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Dr. Pilasande. Appreciated. Right, third block of awards, because I know we want to move swiftly with our program. Please, can I ask Megdim? Megdim, today the stage loves you, my sister. Please come, and we will do this one together. As she comes up, this is all about social entrepreneurship. And this award is for the Support Initiative of the Year. Our panel was handed or moderated to us by somebody from Rwanda. Ladies and gentlemen, our winner for the Social Entrepreneurship Support Initiative of the Year, please give it up for Inkomoko, Rwanda. I love that. She says, come everyone, come. Don't leave her hanging. Come, sir. Ooh, Askis. Their excitement. Thank you so, so much. She's not leaving anybody behind. That's what we do as entrepreneurs. If everybody else is with you, you are there with them. Turn it, voila. I love Sally. Turn it, voila. Right, so between the gentleman and the lady, since both of them are here, who's going to say your 1 minute? Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. So in Homoko, we are an organization that supports others to grow. And over the last nearly 15 years that we've been doing this work, we've worked with about 100,000 businesses across the continent. And what we've learned is really that entrepreneurs just need two things: the tools to succeed and the belief that they can. So for all of the entrepreneurs out there, we believe in you. For all of the support organizations, we believe in you. And we thank everyone here for contributing the tools for all of us to succeed. Thank you.
So can I quickly do something before they leave the stage? Sally, can we do something before they leave the stage? Can I please have, okay, please do us all a favor. Our CEO is watching online. He says he's not seeing the trophy and the certificate. So can someone hold the trophy and someone hold the certificate just to make sure that he sees him? Thank you very much. Thank you. Right. Right, so we're going to go into the Ecosystem Collaboration Champion of the Year. Megdim, but I haven't released you. I must say thank you. Job well done. The stage loves you. Thank you so much. So our next award in this third block, it is the Ecosystem Collaboration Champion of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, our winner is Growth Accelerator Malawi. Do we have our representative from Malawi, from the Growth Accelerator? Okay, so I'm going to ask that the two ladies just hand up their award, and in their absence, we want to say congratulations, and we will send it through to them. Thank you so much. Megdim, now you are released. Give her a round of applause. Swiftly moving along, we've got the fourth block of awards, and I'd like to ask Nalova Nancy, Program Assistant, African Union Cameroon, to come back onto stage and do this fourth block presentation. Thank you. Oh, this was a highly contested award, and because it was highly contested, we have joint winners due to a tie in the final votes. So we have two winners in terms of the Startup Mentor of the Year. First up, please can I welcome, as we were walking around Addis yesterday, she's like, "Cho, me Addis Ujwang." That is a Botswana way of saying, "Addis, how are you?" Please give it up for Cindy Sean Sibanda. I know, I saw her earlier. Where has she run off to? Someone find her. We will wait for her because I know she's here. I saw her with my own two eyes. So ladies and gentlemen, whilst we're waiting for someone to find her, please can I ask you that you go onto our social media pages, and that is ASEP. Woo! She has been found. Run, Forest, run, all the way from Botswana, Dumela me. Thank you so much, and she is our first joint winner, Startup Mentor of the Year. She's like, "Oh, wow." If this is one young lady who had probably the hardest time getting into Addis Ababa, that is her, and so absolutely well-deserved. And I'm going to come and hand you over the microphone. We give you 1 minute to say whatever your heart desires on this win.
Good evening, everyone. Wow. I am never short for words, but today I'm very short for words. Like the previous speakers have said, you know, our words give us the encouragement to keep doing what we're doing. And as I was in Ethiopia for the past 3 days, it has been an inspiration. And all I can say is that collaboration, working together, building together is what will give us the change that we want to see in Africa. Africa has got the greatest untapped potential. And I believe that everyone in this room wants to see growth, change, development in Africa. And we can only do that when we work together. And, you know, Botswana is open for business. And I'd love to keep collaborating and working with everyone here to make our Africa a better Africa. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Cindy. Like I mentioned, there are joint winners. Ladies and gentlemen, from across my border, South Africa, please welcome a young lady who says, "Oh my gosh, you speak like my friend." Please give it up for Chantal Claassen, all the way from Namibia. If there's one lady who is so keen to just go to the streets, this is her, in conjunction with Cindy. Thank you so much. We were having hearty conversations yesterday, And we said to her, we need to come and host ASEB in Namibia because you have a heart for it. She comes from an entrepreneurial background. Dololo was her baby. And I want to give you a minute just to say what you'd like to say. Thank you.
Lucky for you, I talk fast. I've been posting on Instagram, Ethiopia is vibes on vibes. This is an amazing experience. Thank you, Aseb, for bringing me here. But I did want to add, Nomalanga, you're a vibe all on your own. So thank you for that. In Africa, we say it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a founder and a business. It takes a village to build ecosystems. And it takes a village to build Africa. And I love our village. Aseb, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chantal. In South Africa, back to her, it takes a village to raise a child. We say, umuntu, ngumuntu, ngabantu. You are because I am, and I am because you are. So congratulations to our Startup Mentors of the Year. Nancy's gone. My hat. I did not dispense you, Mama, but you can sit down, huh? On the 5th block of awards, can I please ask Biruk Yosef from Jarisi to come up and join me on stage? Biruk, give me a smile. Give me a smile. Yeah. That's all I wanted to see. Right, now we are doing Startup Service Provider of the Year. I'm a service provider. I do this for a living, whether I do eventing, whether I'm backstage. So as a service provider, it's not always easy to get what you need done. What does the client want? How do they want it? How much is the budget? And all of those good things. So they have been doing the greatest and the most. Ladies and gentlemen, our Startup Service Provider of the Year. Please give it up for Melela Partners here in Ethiopia. I see he walks so fast. He's like, I'm coming to get my award, like I'm moving. Thank you so much, sir. I love it for you. Please take photos, and then you'll do your 1 minute. Thank you so much. Can I give you the microphone for your 1 minute? You can hold it.
I would like to thank everyone, especially the more than 200 startups we've worked with in the past 2 years, for helping us grow, understand, and better ourselves throughout the year, and all of the other participants that were in this category with us. Thank you, and amasaganalo.
Thank you very much. Baruch, stay there. I haven't released you. We have a Woman in the STEAM of the Year award. Science, technology. What is the E for, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you. Engineering. What is the A for? Thank you very much. And what is the M for? Thank you very much, because we know STEM, not the arts part. And so our winner, also from this beautiful country, please welcome on stage, Fomia Andualem. It is so heartwarming when you see women entrepreneurs coming up stage to receive awards, because we have to do a whole lot more most of the time. Thank you. Bless you. Ma'am, Hafomia, can I give you your 1 minute? All right.
Hello everyone. So this is Afomia. It's honored. It's also inspiring even to be here. So I'm glad, and I would like to thank ASAP for putting effort to celebrate ecosystem builders. Thank you. Asante sana.
Karibu. Biruk, thank you. Thank you very much. Right, as we move swiftly towards the end, we're doing our 6th block of awards. And please, may I ask to join me on stage, our partner BIC from Ethiopia, Oliver Petzold. Please come and join me on stage, sir. Thank you. At the end of the day, wherever we are in the world, we'll be immigrants, we'll be immigrants. And I know Kevin Ayaba is very passionate about this particular award because as an immigrant, there's so much more that you need to do, so much more you need to prove as you start your work. Immigrant Ecosystem Builder Champion of the Year. There are 2 joint winners. Unfortunately, the one is not here, and I think the other one may not be here, but there is a representative. So the first one is Amadou Dafe, a Senegalese living in Ethiopia. Can someone come and get the award, please? This gentleman worked so hard in the last 2 days at the summit. We honor you, we thank you. Even though you're receiving it on behalf of them, but I think you would want to say something on their behalf. Thank you, sir.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to take the award and keep it to myself.
I like that. I'll take the award and keep it to myself. Thank you very much. Oliver, I think we're good. The other final vote, because of the tie, joint winner, it's Olatokunbo Ige, a Nigerian living in Togo. Unfortunately, not here today, but we will be sending through the award. Right, can I ask our executive board member, Ian, to come and join me, because as we end off our award ceremony, these are the 2 big winners. And that is the Startup Ecosystem Builder Champion of the Year. They've worked hard to be where they are. This is a very auspicious award. So without wasting much time, our joint winners are as follows, and I'm hoping they are in the room. Abenaza B. Tadese, all the way from Ethiopia. So he's collecting it on their behalf. Thank you very much. I love the Ethiopian smiles. They are like so bright. Shine, bright like a diamond. Do you have your 1 minute for them? Thank you very much.
Ebenezer couldn't be here because he's getting married tomorrow morning. So congratulations, Ebenezer. On behalf of Alex and Ebenezer, I think thank you.
Ebenezer, we hope we'll be invited to your wedding tomorrow, but all the best and congratulations. That is absolutely incredible. And lastly, Startup Ecosystem Builder Champion of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up also from Namibia, Silas Newaka. He walks up and he says, wow. McKevin, you've done a great job, and the team. It's not always easy to keep the awards under wraps and who's won them, but well done for doing that, boss, and we appreciate you. Silas, your 1 minute starts now.
Wow, I haven't prepared for anything, so it's just to say thank you, Ethiopia. Thank you, the Namibian ecosystem. Thank you, the SADC ecosystem. Thank you, the African ecosystem, because I've worked in all ecosystems. And I will also fail not to thank my family, which is my wife and my 2 children, who are always not seeing me because I'm busy at office, and those are the things that we are doing. And thank you very much, ASEP, for recognizing us. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen,
Those are the 2 Startup Ecosystem Builder Champion of the Years. Can I quickly ask, please don't go off. Can I ask all the award winners so we can quickly do a picture so that we're done? I hand over and the program carries on. Can I have all my winners on stage? Please bring your trophy as well as your frame. Quickly, please. I'm giving you 20 seconds to get onto stage. 18, 17, 16, 14, 13, 9, 8. This is other creative mathematics. Please come forward, ladies and gentlemen. Please don't hide. Come forward. My camera crew, please direct them. Come forward, come forward. Just be aware of the stage. Gentlemen, please come forward. Thank you. Maybe you can curve in. Yes, please hold up the trophy as well as the certificate. All right, are they all in there? Please don't be scared of each other. Let's make it nice and tight. Right, let's make it nice and tight together. Is everybody? I feel like you're hiding. Yeah. Okay, no one is not in the picture. Right, ladies and gentlemen, please give our winners a round of applause as they come off stage. Showcase, thank you very much. Thank you and well done, everybody. Keep doing what you do and what you do well. Right, as we wrap up the ASEB Awards evening, please can I ask Adisu Derese, lead LOC committee, to deliver our closing message, to thank our partners, sponsors, finalists, and the wider ecosystem. Adisu, where are you, my dear? Please give him a round of applause. This man has not slept, and we have made sure he doesn't sleep. Thank you, sir.
That you did. Thank you very much. Please give it up for our MC. She did a very incredible job. You have no idea how much she saved, how this somehow turned out to become. Thank you very, very much. So thank you all very much. Thank you all very much for joining us tonight. Thank you for our local organizing committee. Thank you for the Ethiopian Entrepreneurship Association. Thank you for the Ethiopian Association of Startups Ecosystem. Thank you, Velocity Marketing. Thank you, EDI, and all our partners, Reach for Change, and UCAN, and all our partners that have joined us and support us through this. Thank you very much. And I think that's it. Good night.
He's a man of very small words. Adisu, I haven't released you, sir. So we decided we're going to give you an award. Local committee organizer. It has not been an easy job, especially because we are not in Ethiopia, so we're relying on him and his team to make sure that everything is done. Please smile. I want to see those teeth. Thank you very much, Adisu. And as I end off, before I hand over to our MC, I want to say thank you to Rise Addis Podcast, Ethiopian Association Startup. Thank you very, very much. Mayot in Tech, thank you very much. Ethiopian Entrepreneurship Association, Fetola, Addis Ababa University for hosting us in the last 2 days. EDI, you know what you've done. Velocity Marketing, Reach for Change, Ethiopia, woo, yeah. Indalo Inclusive, Sally and I are here because they made sure our flights were paid for. BIC Ethiopia, the partnership. Jasiri, Growth Africa, UCAN, Techna Solutions, Set Up a Startup, Growth Wheel South Africa in his absence. Thank you, Hilton. Global Entrepreneurship Week, Shega, Kaba, and Owl Events. Please give our partners and our sponsors a round of applause. I want to hand it over to our MC, Shim. It's been an honor and a pleasure. Ngiyabonga, enkosi, danki, asante sana.
Don't you guys have an award for MCs? If there were one, ladies and gentlemen, the charming, the jovial, the beautiful Nomalanga Sitole, all the way from South Africa, making this event an incredible and memorable event as we wrap up the 2025 Global Entrepreneurship Week. Thank you so very much, Nomalanga. It's been a pleasure to host this event with you, and I hope we'll keep coming back again. Thank you so very much. You reminded me of our particular overall sponsors and partners whom I would like to remind you of once again. The MasterCard Foundation, GIZ, Commercial Bank of Ethiopia, SEU, SNV, Jasiri, Geda Bank, and Reach for Change. So would you please give our partners one round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your generous support. Thank you so much. When Nomalanga was introducing the Immigrant Ecosystem Builder Champion of the Year, she was saying wherever we go, we're all immigrants. But not when you are in Ethiopia. Because Ethiopia is the cradle of humanity, where everybody will eventually come back. And thank you so much for being here to your home, away from home. Thank you so very much. Without further ado now, I would like to leave the stage to His Excellency Dr. Hassan Hussein, Director General of the Entrepreneurship Development Institute, to give his vote of thanks and a wrap-up closing remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, please give him a big round of applause to welcome him back to the stage.
Shimen namasganande. My distinguished guests, Your Excellencies, being awarded the honor of being the obstacle between you and your dinner, I'll be as brief as possible, but please do bear with me. It's my great honor to address you on ASEB 2025 award in this beautiful hall in Africa's beautiful capital, Addis Ababa. Tonight's awardees, all of them, please allow me to congratulate you for a job well done. I salute you, Africa salutes you. Thank you very much. Please continue with whatever you are doing because it is making a difference in the lives of people. Please continue working with whatever you are doing until prosperity is realized in Africa, realizing Dr. Eleni's dream. We won't only end poverty, we would build prosperity. And this shall be in mine and Dr. Eleni's lifetime. Entrepreneurs are those who dream up and generate new solutions to our collective challenge. They are those who ensure that innovative ideas do not remain lofty concepts or distant imaginations, but are brought to the ground as practical realities. They are those who rise above darkness to kindle a beacon of hope and light. And in Africa, we need to nurture, grow, and scale their works. Not in their thousands, but in their millions. Entrepreneurs are those who prevent our aspirations from remaining unfulfilled desires by turning them into tangible results. They are those who demonstrate that what is often deemed impossible can in fact be achieved. And in Africa, we need to nurture, grow, and scale their works, not in their thousands, but in their millions. Entrepreneurs are those who bring distant opportunities within the reach of our hands rather than leaving them beyond the horizon. They are those who convert convert setbacks into instruments of learning, continuously improving, strengthening, and advancing. They are those who don't see boundaries. And in Africa, we need to nurture, grow, and scale their works, not in their thousands, but in their millions. Entrepreneurs are those who persevere with their vision, courage, determination, endurance, and generosity of spirit. It is these nation builders whom we celebrate during this Global Entrepreneurship Week and during this ASAB 2025 award. We at the Entrepreneurship Development Institute are honored to celebrate you. Tonight we honor you because you should be celebrated. As the theme of GEW 2025, Together We Build says, startups succeed because of ecosystem builders. They are built together. And in Africa, we have lots and lots of startups to build, and build them fast, and build them together. Thank you very much for the important work you do, and Africa is proud to have you, to consider you as sons and daughters that would build the motherland into our century's economic powerhouse and the new cool place to be, the future of mankind, a continent of endless possibilities and opportunities. We stumbled as a continent and we rise as one. Rise we shall and we must. Thank you very much and good night.
Thank you so very much, Your Excellency, Dr. Hassan Hussein, Director General of the Ethiopian Entrepreneurship Institute, for the wonderful messages that you put forward, and congratulations for having successfully put this grand event together. As you see on the screen, Ethiopia still stands first in the Global Leadership Board, with more than 4,300 activities being carried out during the Global Entrepreneurship Week 2025. And I hope we'll continue to rise and also to keep up the spirit until the end of the week and over and over and over again every year. Wish us good luck Ethiopia. Wonderful, congratulations, both the ministry and the institute. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the evening, but not yet before going out for networking and a cocktail reception cordially invited to you by the organizers. So the way we go out will be rows by rows. So we'll see our guest of honors right in the first row, leaving the hall first. There are 2 exits, and we do have wristbands that will be given at the gate, so please don't push each other out much. So we go row by row, and then we'll be served the cocktail reception. Thank you so very much. Global Entrepreneurship Week 2025, proudly hosted by MOLS and EDI, has opened for the next 7 days here in Ethiopia. Thank you so very much. My name is Shimelis Lema. It's been an absolute pleasure. Bon appetit. So first row goes out first, and then we do it quickly, row by row. Thank you so much, my colleague and partner on the sign language. Thank you so very much. So row 1 is leaving now. The other rows are waiting for row 1 to leave, so if you could just walk and talk. Then we'll go to row 2.
Every day I'm on the road. No limit you. No limit you.
Well, as long as the gates are not crowded, you can slowly move out and get your wristband. Bon appetit again. Bonsoir.
Tonight I'll be dancing at the bed away. Give me your hand and shoulder. To see shoulder get up. Blessings for your head up.